Good morning, Jasmine.
I think AI will probably, most likely, sort of lead to the end of the world.
That creepy quote is from big tech CEO Sam Altman, whose company OpenAI is one of the biggest names in artificial intelligence. Folks, when you look around the country, it appears the majority of citizens are against data centers moving into their town. Whether through song,
Not here, not anywhere.
Protests against an AI data center in Union County, New Jersey.
yet despite this, there are hundreds of them springing up around the nation. Now, here's what big tech executives are telling us on why we should be welcoming data centers into our communities.
We are going to be the dominant player, or China's going to be the dominant player, and there will just be very different rules depending on who wins.
Powering the AI revolution, while also advancing a more reliable, affordable, and clean power grid.
Everybody's ChatGPT, everybody gets it for free, and everybody has access to just this crazy thing such that everybody can be more productive, make way more money.
AI is the biggest technical thing ever in my lifetime. I mean, it is so profound.
However, for many Americans, there is a growing suspicion that they will be the ones to foot the bill for this endeavor while big tech rakes in the reward and profits. And if this data center bet goes wrong, the downsides could be catastrophic. It could mean the destruction of our drinking water supply, the collapse of our already weakened electrical grids, massive price hikes on our monthly utility bills, and giving the government the power of extreme mass surveillance. And the list goes on. So with much on the line, I decided to travel across the country to understand this data center tsunami that is coming our way. So let's begin. First, a quick word from the sponsor of today's episode. Folks, for this documentary, we've been on the road, a lot of road trips in Wisconsin and multiple states to all make this happen. And sometimes being on the road makes making documentaries difficult. Let me pull over and show you guys what I'm talking about. So if I'm just on the road and all I have is my laptop, when I'm working with really big files, like when we got these covert shots of this data center in Texas, using AnyDesk, because I can use my laptop as a portal to go into the work computer and operate from there, which makes things easy. Or another scenario, I want to see the footage of the town hall where a lot of people are really angry about data centers. Well, it's on Miguel's computer. So I can use AnyDesk from my laptop to go into his, and now I can access that file and start getting to work. One thing that's cool about AnyDesk is they work with a lot of anti-scammer channels, like Scammer Payback and Jim Browning. The capabilities AnyDesk has can help me in my operation. Whatever mission you are on back home watching this, if there's something that can help, it is free for personal use, and they have custom pricing options if you are a business. Click my link in the description to get started. We gotta hit the road here. There's so much you gotta see. This data center story is huge, and you gotta learn all about it. Let's get to it.
Right now, Microsoft is building a massive new AI data center right here in Wisconsin, a project that could soon impact homes.
We're pulling into a Wisconsin farmhouse that has been negatively impacted by this nearby data center. We're going to get their story. And just remember, what's happening to this family could happen to you, could happen to your family members that live out in the country. I think rural people are disproportionately affected by this crisis. Folks, a data center is a massive industrial warehouse filled with thousands of computer servers that store and process digital information. These facilities serve as the backbone of the internet, making everything from streaming. Visit in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin, where almost a stone's throw away from their house, Meta began building a billion-dollar data center. And well, that's when the trouble began to start. Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us.
Sure.
Good to see you, brother. How are you? Charlie Barron is a beloved Wisconsin comedian and Emmy-winning journalist who has been traveling the state and speaking at rallies to help locals fight against data centers. Today, we join forces in Beaver Dam. How long has this been in the family?
It's been in the Frank family since 1974. This farm has been established here for over 150 years.
When did you notice something was amiss in this house?
The main thing was probably right around the end of February. You know, we're turning on the faucets. The water is kind of discolored. It's not real great. Then we had nothing for water. We got someone out to take a look at the well, and then they declared it a dry well. You know, you're looking at either digging that well deeper or digging a whole new well, which could run you $20,000 to $25,000, depending on how deep you need to go.
Folks, let's look at the scale of data center water usage. A single large data center can consume up to 5 million gallons of water a day, which is equivalent to the daily water consumption of a town of 50,000 people. Also, roughly 2/3 of all new data centers being constructed are located in regions facing severe water shortages. In fact, some of our key countries' water basins are at risk. The Colorado River, which 40 million people depend on, is being targeted by data centers despite the river already being in the midst of a 2-decade drought. The water levels of the Great Salt Lake in Utah are so low that residents are scared they will be facing dust storms. And in Wisconsin, developers say they will funnel heated data center wastewater back into Lake Michigan. People are concerned that these elevated water temperatures may destroy the local ecosystems. So for many, these risks to our freshwater supplies don't seem to be worth it. Tell me in the comments what you think.
At this point, are you worried about the quality of your own drinking water?
Stop drinking our water.
What do you call in this situation?
I don't know. We started out with our local city council, who seems to have no interest in anything that's going on in this township.
Have you tried contacting a lawyer?
Yeah, my husband did some calling around, and there wasn't a single one that wanted to talk to us about any of this.
Why do you think that is?
Does anybody want to take on $1 billion,
Another Microsoft data center possibly coming to southeast Wisconsin. For the last several months, the village of Caledonia board.
These companies got way too big.
Prescott Balch. I live in Caledonia. I was part of the group that pushed back on the Microsoft data center in Caledonia.
Not because we're opposed to development, and we're in favor of maintaining the beauty and rural nature of this village.
It's your life. Pack in all the things you love, like Breakstone's cottage cheese, packed with protein and delicious dairy flavor. Try Breakstone's cottage cheese, so you can live to the fullest.
The first thing that you notice when you look at these proposals is every single one of them is in a small town. They're doing that because the land is cheap and they can find proximity to power, which is the key attribute. A small town is no match for a Fortune 50 company when it comes to negotiating terms. And many of these small towns are desperate for some growth. They're desperate for some economic activity, and they get lined and dined and shown big giant numbers that they can only dream of. And they just want to figure out how to make the best deal as fast as possible, get it approved, and start reaping the rewards.
Across the country, we are hearing reports of people being distressed by the noise that these data centers are making. From Wisconsin,
That's just a high-pitched drone sound.
I can hear it inside my house, and that's what concerns me.
To Mississippi.
For months now, this is the sound communities near the plant hear.
To Arizona.
Neighbors say you'll start to hear a really irritating noise that you can't ever unhear.
This constant noise is driving some people crazy, and it has another sick side effect. It makes it nearly impossible for people to sell their homes, because at the end of the day, who would want to live next to a data center that puts out a relentless 24/7 hum?
It makes me feel like we just don't matter.
Your well that you've lived on for decades, it goes dry. Another company that moved in that doesn't even live here gets the access. It's feeling really Israeli and tactic to me. The water is what keeps a family going, and if we're willing to knock that off for families, we're even signing ourselves up for it. After all, if we don't have water, what do we have to live?
My name is Ben Green. I'm an assistant professor at the University of Michigan School of Information and the Ford School of Public Policy. So data centers use a lot of water, primarily for cooling. Developers will talk about things like closed loop systems. I think that does reduce the water use of the cooling. What I've seen is more than half of the water use of a data center is not directly in the cooling, but is in the generation of the electricity in a power plant that is then used to power the data center, provide the electricity for it.
And as these spurt up around the country and more of them grow, what are the potential implications on our water supply of this?
These data centers are just generally draining the water supply and could lead to issues where, there's not enough water, and it's like, does the data center get water first if there's a drought? And people are being told to limit their water intake, not to water their lawns, and so on. Are data centers actually receiving that same limitation? Probably not.
Wisconsin is the largest freshwater resources of any state in the country, and there's a reason data centers are popping up close to these resources is because they need massive amounts of water, and they can use like 3 to 5 million gallons of water a day, and companies will tout a closed loop cooling system. we really don't know what this closed-loop cooling system is actually going to mean for water use for these sites, or what happens to the water after it's gone through the closed loop.
What is leading you to become a whistleblower?
Some practices that I don't agree with.
I was approached by a whistleblower who's worked with the biggest data center companies in the world, including Meta and Amazon Web Services. Because he is still actively employed by one of these tech giants, he needed to remain completely anonymous, but what he said is chilling.
We're building a security apparatus that spies on every American. We're essentially building the digital prison of the future. A system that knows you better than you know you.
Do you think we have something to worry about as far as water consumption from the data center?
Yes, unfavorable billing practices. My company pays close to $250,000 per year in water usage. Every single day, we put almost 100,000 gallons of water into the atmosphere. And I wanted to talk about how we were using an Israeli cybersecurity company to monitor all employee communications and all of the status of our equipment.
Do you know what company that was?
The company's name is Checkpoint.
This is Checkpoint co-founder Shlomo Kramer. He's an Israeli cybersecurity entrepreneur who served in the IDF's notorious Unit 8200, which is the equivalent of America's NSA and is Israel's most elite cyber warfare group. Here's what he said on national television about free speech in the United States.
It's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it.
This Tel Aviv-based company is used by every single one of the top 50 companies in the Fortune 500, and with Kramer's attitude on free speech, his direct ties back to Unit 8200, and Israel's stranglehold elsewhere in this country, I can't help but feel concerned when a company connected to a foreign spy agency is acting as the cybersecurity gatekeeper for almost every major corporation in America.
I'm John Mazzarella. I own and operate Coastal Crypto. It's a data center mining operation facility.
To get the other side of the coin, we sit down with John Mazzarella. He's the owner of Coastal Crypto, a company which repurposes old industrial sites into crypto mining data centers. Here's what he had to say.
We tried to take a different approach to it. We saw that there was a lot of abandoned power, failing grid systems, buildings that were just vacant for years. Big issue right now with Google in my area is how much water they're going to consume. And they're saying it's proprietary information. I'm sure some of it's proprietary. I don't put that by them, but let's open up the doors a little bit. Why are we using so much water? What kind of situations are we using with the water? Because there's water that gets recycled, there's water that gets captured, there's water that gets evaporated. What kind of impact is their water usage actually going to have to that local economy? That information needs to be divulged.
The physical building will last nearly forever. It's, concrete and steel, and they last a long time. They are very unique buildings. They're not like warehouses. They're not like office buildings. They don't have windows. They don't have tall ceilings. The historical average over the last 40 years is that a data center is good for 15 to 25 years, and then the technology change catches up with it, and it's not economically viable to retrofit it with the latest. The future reuse possibilities are limited. I don't think any of these municipalities looking into this are thinking about that risk.
The local political people are enjoying the influx of money, and there's a lot of local people who are enjoying the influx of money. Nobody wants to even hear the local people who are paying the price.
Let's wrap our heads around why, despite widespread citizen protests, local government officials continue to push through data centers. One big reason is the absolutely real boom of construction jobs, and the other is the pledge of massive tax revenue. Now, in places like Loudoun County, Virginia, estimates project that over $1 billion in taxes is coming to the county budget by taxing the servers inside the data centers. But for most other towns, this gets a little murky. You see, developers use a loophole called a TIF, which is a tax incentive that essentially takes the new promised property taxes and recycles them right back to pay for the data center's own infrastructure. So on paper, the town looks like it's getting rich, but in reality, it's not the citizens who benefit. It's just another tax break for big tech.
Yep. I just want that money so badly. I want that revenue. I want to be able to get the new construction on my books so that I have a higher valuation, so that I can raise taxes for the village and not raise taxes on each individual, because I've got this big taxpayer providing a big slug of new money. But like all things too good to be true, because of those risks, they're outsized risks.
Shopify is a platform that helps entrepreneurs get started down the path they want. Sometimes starting a business can be scary. I feel like I lost a little piece of my soul. Like getting covered in spiders or being buried alive. But Shopify is here to help. If I hadn't started my own business, I wouldn't have been able.
Most of the stories I see about data centers are about citizens losing the fight. But then I got wind of news out of Tucson, Arizona, where the citizens organized, fought back, and won. This is local leader Jennifer, and she tells us how.
My name is Jennifer Allen. I am the District 3 Supervisor and Vice Chair of the Pima County Board of Supervisors. We had been told on the Board of Supervisors that there was a project kind of being cooked up called Project Blue. We were not given much information at all, not until right up before the vote that we took to approve it. We were told that we couldn't get much more information because of a non-disclosure agreement, but we were also told that we couldn't talk about it because of a non-disclosure agreement.
Another concerning aspect of data centers is the standard practice of imposing NDAs that prevent locals from knowing key details that impact their own city. For example, in the town of The Dalles in Oregon, Google built massive data centers there, and the local government, bound by an NDA, refused to tell the public how much water Google was using. After a prolonged legal battle and a lawsuit led by the town's local newspaper, The Oregonian, the city was forced to release these records, and it turns out that these data centers were using over a quarter of the city's water supply. And folks, it's stories like this that increase people's paranoia around data centers when on one hand, big tech tells us that there's nothing to worry about, but on the other hand, they silence local officials and keep the usage around town resources secret from the very people that live there.
We sat in near silence and in the dark until Beal, the developer of Project Blue, gave a more comprehensive-ish presentation to the board. It was first proposed was going to be a water-cooled system, meaning they were just going to keep pumping water, tens of thousands of gallons of water every day. We're a desert. We live in a beautiful desert, a lush desert, but it is a desert no less, with increasingly extreme heat, with longer periods of drought. We simply cannot sustain water-hungry industries like data centers.
Our water situation here is vastly different than it used to be. Our property values are probably actively tanking as we stand here and talk. But you look around here, there's no standing water anywhere. You drive to Fond du Lac and look in the fields on your way back towards Green Bay. There's water everywhere.
Does it feel like a hostile takeover of your own land and water?
It feels like a hostile takeover of my township. Why do we need to bury family farms and make fortunes for some people and steal fortunes from other people so cats can wear hats? It doesn't make sense.
So while farmers in Beaver Dam are worried about their wells running dry due to Meta's data center, 90 miles away in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin, Microsoft has moved in. And Prescott explains how locals are worried about a massive tax increase coming their way.
Mount Pleasant puts $1 billion of new valuation on their books, which equals 17% increase in their total valuation. That meant they could raise their taxes 17%. Well, they chose to only raise it 8% and then hid that increase behind some other line item reductions to sort of hide it from the community members. The developer of the data center does not start contributing to that general fund until that tax increment district is closed out. Microsoft, in the case of Mount Pleasant, is not paying a dime towards that 8% increase. That is coming on the backs of every person in Mount Pleasant.
If we don't start standing up for what is right, this is going to continue forever until it's too late.
They're operating as a business. They have a lot of negotiating power when they're choosing these sites, and they get tax exemptions when they do so. They're not playing by the rules that you and I have to play by.
That's what the water looks like. And if the mayor of Beaver Dam wants to come drink it, she can. At this point, it's completely contaminated. For sure.
So all this sand
just came out of that faucet, yeah.
And that never happened before.
No. Anybody want a drink?
What you see here is sand and sediment in Scott's water. And if you've seen AOC's viral clip talking about Georgia drinking water, you've seen this before.
This is what the Georgia water now looks like next to that data center. And I think both of us can agree that neither one of these things are drinkable.
For people near data centers, this can happen, and it's for two main reasons. First is the heavy construction shaking up the local water table, and second is because of the vacuum-like pressure that comes when a data center is sucking millions of gallons of the town's water supply. Now, sand is obviously bad, but for those even more unlucky, they're worried about losing their water supply altogether. How long have you been out of a job?
It's probably been about a good year.
And how long did you work on the data center?
About
going on 5 years.
5? Wow.
Yeah.
So this project has been in development for a long time.
Yeah, it was all over the newspapers before they were even here. You know, just because everybody was so excited because it was bringing jobs and work and just things like that.
It does bring jobs initially, but as soon as it's done and built, then it's kind of, and so it's built, functioning, and there's no more.
It basically runs itself. You don't need that many people, you know, after you build everything.
How well did they pay people to work on this project?
At first, it was barely like $14, $15. As of now, they pay people pretty good because they don't have as many people.
In Piper's older years, Yvonne catered her grooming around more rest breaks because she couldn't hold the position for as long.
Is water plentiful in these parks?
You can see they've almost dried out this section of the lake right here.
Folks, behind me right now is the body of water that cools these data centers. And if you look over here, this is a lake that 5 years ago was full, and now it is dried up. And I think it's fair to ask ourselves and be afraid, are these water sources going to be dried up in 5 years, 10 years? What are the implications on our everyday life when that happens? Will we be regulated to showering on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays while these data companies get full usage of our water? Will this clean water turn into toxic water? Will it creep through into our aquifers and water tables? And at what cost to the average person will these operations have? And the problem is,
$1 million.
that when you try and dig into these matters, oftentimes these are classified things protected by NDAs because it's company secret, company information. And we as the people, I think, have a right to know what direction this is headed, especially if it's our water supply and one of the most basic things that we need to live. Folks, it may sound like I'm being overly dramatic, but you have to know what is happening behind closed doors. Across the country, data centers are making extremely lopsided, secretive deals with local governments that border on predatory. In many of these arrangements, data centers lock in massive water and power contracts that are shielded from the public eye. And because they get special wholesale rates, mega corporations often pay less for water and power than you do in your own town. Some states, like Wisconsin, are fighting back and requiring data centers to cover their costs, but in most cases, citizens pay the price, like in Virginia, where electricity prices have increased by over 267% in the last 5 years. Does the town feel like this is a benefit to the community?
As far as having a job, maybe.
How do you feel about all this?
I kind of got a sore spot in my throat for it because of what I went through, but then when I was, making money with them, it was a good thing.
A lot of Americans, we fear that with this AI growth and this data center growth, that a lot of jobs will be replaced with AI, leaving a lot of people jobless while we have these really rich people at the top getting even more rich.
I could believe it because at this point, if you're not building more like they are, it basically runs itself. And the only thing you have to do is maintenance.
One of the biggest red flags is that we, the people, are going to be screwed by these deals.
Yes, your water bill will go up about 100% over a period of time. I'm not sure.
2 years, 5 years?
Probably about 5 years. But the data center will pay the same amount every year for their water usage and power usage because they're viewed as essential.
These are the richest people in the world. I mean, we're talking about Larry Ellison in Port Washington, who's the second richest man on earth.
How did these folks end up getting as a response if they're not here yet?
That's the scene there. Hundreds of trucks moving tons of dirt. It's the sound Port Washington residents have been listening to 24/7. Work being done day and night.
We own this building. We're the taxpayers. Hey, you work for us.
What you are seeing is concerned citizens trying to attend their city council meeting about data centers, but being told there's not enough room. So instead, they are pushed off into a separate area with no face-to-face contact with the city decision makers.
Is it full in there? It's full.
Yes. And in one of the last Port Washington meetings, local resident Christine was forcibly removed by police.
A Port Washington City Council meeting turned into a shouting match, ending with 3 people arrested on Tuesday, all of it because of a recently approved data center.
Nope, get out of the way.
We cannot speak for all of you, but we will try and speak for you. Thank you.
This is outrageous.
Yeah, thank you. At this point, the question is not whether opposition exists. It clearly does. The question is whether this council is willing to acknowledge risk, accept responsibility, and change course when warranted.
I don't want to be hyperbolic, but I genuinely believe the data centers and AI in and of itself could potentially be cataclysmic economically. Like, the people of Fort Washington are immensely frustrated, as millions of Americans are across the country, because we don't want these technocrats swooping into our communities to steal all of our resources so that they can eventually take our jobs. We don't have the ability to live the American dream. It's essentially been stolen from us. All of these issues kind of compound on one another, and it's leading to a generation of apathetic, disillusioned, and frankly disinterested individuals who don't want to be members of a democratic society anymore.
It's like $15 billion into this Port Washington data center to create, what, 100 jobs?
By my calculations, if Port Washington takes the full amount of the new construction, their taxes will increase 50%. The city taxes will increase 50% over the course of the next probably seven or 8 years. I think you should tell people that. Like, tell people that's your plan, and then see how excited they are about it.
Amanda Mueller lives a half mile from the site.
Right now it's very bright. We call it the land of the midnight sun. We can't see the stars anymore.
City officials say working overnight means the build-out will be done and the city will see tax benefits sooner. But this group isn't holding their breath.
Small business owners can save up to 20% on business insurance with Fiverr.com. Click or call.
Breath. Hundreds of people started showing up and expressing lots of concerns about the use of water and energy and the costs. And that momentum just kept growing and growing, and they were successful in getting the city of Tucson to back out and to agree not to annex the property, which meant that Beal was stuck with our 290 acres, and all this plan that they had cooked up just fell flat. Knowing what we know now, I wish we'd had all of those things in place before, so that we would have had greater opportunity to stop the project, a lot more information, a lot more transparency, and just tools for community to be involved. Draw the line.
Initially, when we interviewed Jennifer out in Tucson, it was a victory story. The people had shut down, and the city council had shut down a data center coming to town. But I just saw an update that the Arizona Corporation Commission is trying to push it through despite the will of the people. And so it's not looking like a victory for the people, it's looking like a victory for big tech. We'll see how the story continues. What are the revenue streams from a data center?
They are humongous. So, for example, if I plug in one server to another, that is $300 per month from that just one fiber connection. Now, there are millions of fiber connections inside of every single data center. The numbers are so large that you can't even comprehend how much money it is.
Right now, all over the country, big tech is offering individual farmers tens of millions of dollars for their land and spending billions on construction. And you might be wondering, how will they be making all this money back? Because yes, they make subscription money by charging people $20 a month for ChatGPT, or they sell massive corporations AI software packages, and this does bring in a good chunk of change. In reality, this money does not make a dent in what they are currently spending. Essentially, these tech companies are making a giant gamble to become the AI superpower of the future, which to them is a trillions of dollars winner-takes-all race. And if this bet does not pay off, the crash of this AI bubble will be felt globally. In fact, some experts warn that a collapse would wipe out as much as $33 trillion in market value, and this would plunge the stock market by as much as 40 to 60%. Yikes.
What do you see as the biggest misconceptions that a lot of people who are up in arms have about these data centers?
Again, it's educating on these smaller details. Internet. I'm not tapping into the town's, fiber line and bringing in my own. I'm not pulling residual power from the town, increasing the consumption of power for the town, or I'm increasing the grid structure. So I'm not stealing anything. I'm not taking away from somebody that could use it. I'm trying to bring more infrastructure and stability to a grid system or a network system or a community that needs jobs.
What comes to your mind when you see all this?
I mean, a big metaphor, a huge metaphor, a giant hulking carcass of a metaphor of industry that used to be built by American workers, by men using their hands with skills, trades. And obviously this was built by workers, but now, we're talking to one of them that kind of got discarded. There's a bunch of reporting on how they promised 300 jobs and actually wound up hiring 14.
These billion-dollar facilities only employ 100 people, some of them security staff, some of them janitorial staff. But they will claim that they bring 1,000 jobs or more to the area per building. But that's not the case. They use contractors that travel from outside the locality, and all of these jobs are not permanent jobs.
Their main workforce is the minor maintenance, what I was saying. Once the computers go down, they bring them in racks, and they just refurbish them.
And how long until it's robots maintaining them? How long until it's like a Tesla bot just walking around, just changing racks, checking switches?
And you probably could automate that like a car, like an assembly line.
If this giant carcass of a building isn't the perfect metaphor for what's happening all around America with these data centers, I don't know what is.
Kaiser, you've been looking into this extensively for the last 3 or 4 years. Tell me about that.
So it used to be warehouses, kind of. It started with development in Bensenville, Illinois.
Kaiser runs a YouTube channel called Stringer Media, and he's been spending the last few years going around the country covering communities that have been taken over by data centers. Today, we see what Microsoft has done in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Essentially, a warehouse developer bought all of these people's homes. Perfectly nice houses. One day they're there, next they're gone.
You go from a functioning community to an industrial wasteland.
Yeah, everybody's just gone. So I could take you to a street that's been bought out.
To me, what I think of when I look at a place like this is, look, a nice little yard, kids could play in the prairie, there was a bird feeder, there was a family here that had a great time, but we're in a time where a lot of people are economically pinched, and if you come to someone's doorstep and offer them way over market, a lot of people are in a position where they kind of have to take it. They feel like that's their ticket to a future in America. And like I think if we were in more prosperous times, the middle class was stronger, the data centers wouldn't have as much luck as they are emptying out these neighborhoods that they are right now.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. Most of these houses were older people. It's a lot of money. You know, they probably had these houses before even the highway was here. These warehouses and data centers might be abandoned along the line. Maybe they're obsolete.
Actually, a pretty likely option is that we're left with these giant shells of buildings that in most of these agreements the companies are not responsible for taking care of, and it's going to be the people that have to deal with them, and they're not easy spaces to convert into human spaces again.
It's one of those gold rushes, you know? Everyone's trying to hop on the money, just do as much as they can, and eventually maybe it'll die down or something like that. And then what are you left with? Just destroyed nature and empty buildings.
Some people might say, if you're against data centers, you're against progress, and that's anti-American.
Employers don't hire diplomas, they hire skills. Get both at WGU. Learn more at wgu.edu. We, the people of the ballpark, are all...
I mean, there's a strong current of that, but I disagree. I think it's very American to want to say, you know, we don't want to just have monopolistic overlords. We care about our communities. We want to have local community voice. Is very important, very American. AI is being dominated and developed by a handful of companies that do not care about the public interest. And so the types of AI that they're going to develop are not going to be utopian things. They're going to, you know, develop tools that are not very helpful, that put workers out of jobs, kind of poisoning kids' brains, stopping people from learning. Some people might call that innovation, but to me, that's just bad.
Look, the average American should be locked into what AI and what data centers are going to do in their lives. I think 30 million jobs in the coming years that we're going to see lost from AI. So keep an eye on your community zoning. What I'll say is there are little signs or signals that will pop up when data centers are about to move in.
Follow Elon Musk at all. He's all about data centers going to space. So I'm all for it if that's the case, if that's where they go, 100%. But you're still going to need some kind of position on Earth for them to be transmitting the data back and forth. Biggest advice or recommendation I can give to anybody is just do your research. If I have the answers, I'll try to answer them. If I don't have the answers, I'll help you research them myself. Hopefully form an opinion based on fact, not emotion.
I am really nervous watching this data center story develop. It feels like it's out of control, but I do have to say I am a bit of a hypocrite because I use AI day to day. I use it to edit my writing. I use it to source research. It's truly an amazing tool. But to me, it's key that this is done sustainably. We have to prioritize people, their homes, their communities, their resources first before big tech. And right now it feels like big tech is just getting the seat at the table, and we the people are shunted off to the side, and our leaders, both local and national, don't give a shit about it.
Tommy G.
It's a troubling trend because right now they're trying to keep AI from being regulated for 10 years with the big, beautiful bill. And that could be disastrous. And I don't know about you, but I want a world that not only are you and me proud to live in, but that we can give to our kids. That is our duty. We need to do that. And to think that's even something that we might not do is outrageous. So I look at history, I look at presidents like Teddy Roosevelt that made the national parks, that loved nature and went after big business when it was necessary. And I look at what's happening in current day, and it feels like we're dealing with people that don't even go outside, don't smell flowers, don't touch grass, and don't care about our kids' future. And I don't like that at all. So we have to fight, guys. You have to organize locally, you have to get informed, and we can win this battle because just remember the Bugs Life movie, the ants outnumber the grasshoppers. So always keep hope, keep that in mind, keep fighting the good fight, and I'll see you next week. Peace.
The ants outnumber the grasshoppers. Hell yeah, that's a good one.
You've seen it on Financial Audit, you've seen it in the news, and you've seen it in real life. EBT is everywhere. Is that good or is it bad? I feel like it's a mix of both, but there's a lot of crazy TikToks out there about it, and we gotta talk about it today. You got me, you got Brandon, and this is the Caleb Hammer Show.
Okay. The food first, is it EBT? Is it EBT?
Why would it be EBT for, sir? Because I'm black? I'm my I got a job.
No, I'm just,
No,
my
sir.
bad.
It's all regular, real money. Real money. I sell drugs, we got money here.
Hey, that's racist.
I sell drugs, we get money here?
That's a job.
It is a job.
Not a legal job. He will probably go to prison and then get an EBT after that, but that's racist to assume.
Yeah, just seeing a black guy come in and saying, oh, it's on EBT, right? But maybe he is a frequent flyer.
That is true, and he said a lot of words that I cannot say.
Such as?
I'll say when the camera cuts.
All right.
Hey, my bad.
Did you do split payments, though?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, well, my check don't hit till next week. Really?
So
That's drug money. No, I don't. Food stamps ain't hit. Yeah, you was right, bro. Yeah, we got food stamps here.
Okay, so the stereotypes, it wasn't racist.
We thought he was wrong. We thought he was racist at first. Turns out he's got ball knowledge.
He was connecting a stereotype that might be a stereotype for contextual reasons.
He did say the food stamps don't start till next week, though.
He did say that, and he also said the paycheck is not hit.
It is not.
Which is confusing because sells drugs.
Yeah,
the paycheck when you sell the drug.
The paycheck is instant.
You was right. But don't do it because I'm black.
My bad, man. I didn't mean it that way.
Morning, Evan.
My bad. Is all you need, brother?
You was right. Yeah, it's all good. But the fifth, when I come back, different story.
It's got skin of my color.
It's gonna be EBT all day.
The skin of my...
All day. I can get something for you. Family getting something for free. You know we like discounts.
Yeah. The fifth, when he comes back, it's going to be EBT all day? Make that make sense.
I wonder what happened from his... So we're giving drug dealers EBT? Maybe that's a good thing, though, if it gets him to stop selling drugs.
But why did he crash out on the cashier for assuming that he was paying with EBT?
Well, because that's racism.
But then he's on EBT.
Because racism is correct.
That's all, folks.
So just a PSA for anybody on EBT that has been paying for your nails, lashes, whatever it may be, with your EBT card, you can no longer do that. No.
Good? Why the fuck? Why was that a thing? I didn't know that was a thing. Why was that a thing? Should that be a thing?
Hair, nails, lashes with the EBT? What?
Okay. Like, listen, because part of me, I tried to think, okay, but wait, am I just not being sympathetic? You want to make sure poor kids are still getting a haircut and everything, but then you're just clippers. You're just clippers. I'm thinking of yes, I was lower middle class, but even lower than that, like my adjacent cousins, they were lower than that. They were poor. You know what they did? And they were totally fine. They were buzz cut all through high school.
But you know what she didn't say? She did not say my kids' hair, nails, and lashes.
She did not.
She said my hair, nails, and lashes. So I don't even think kids are in the picture. I think she's just a broke bitch.
Your hair, nails, glasses need to go get a job.
And a dentist.
I just went to go get my nails, lashes, and eyebrows done. Went to go swipe my EBT card, and she tells me they no longer accept that. So not only are they taking away junk food, sugary drinks, they are giving us all a time limit with how long we can be on EBT. Now you can't get your nails done with EBT. So I had to use cash.
Oh my
Cash
God.
out of my account for my nails and eyebrows.
It's a social safety net. It protects you in the moment. It protects you when something bad happens. It's not a forever program. It's not designed to be that. If it designs to be that, then we end up in a society where we have massive amount of peoples that are just sitting on programs. The programs are not bad. The programs aren't bad.
We just have the robots do everything.
Forever. And, you know, it's probably...
You just have robots do everything. And then everybody's on Section 8 with food stamps. And robots just do everything.
Good that they're not for sweet and sugary and shit like that, because 1, that's unhealthy. 2, it's subsidizing those companies. 3, it leads to an unhealthy lifestyle, which creates costs on our medical system. And 4, it makes you unhealthy, makes you fatter, makes you less likely to go get a job or have the energy to go and actually make that living anyway. It's all a downside having all that anyway. So it makes sense. I want more funding for food stamps if it leads to healthier foods and better outcomes. But no, that's not getting your fucking nails done.
No junk food, no nails. Unbelievable.
So now,
Somehow this lady was able to swipe her food stamp card to get her hair, nails, and eyelashes done. And all of a sudden the place she went to do that isn't taking it in using the you can't use the EBT to do that anymore at the place she's going. So she's having a freak out.
$100 short on my freaking rent that I'm supposed to pay. They need to figure something out, because this is not okay.
Ma'am, I think you need to figure something.
You need to figure out something, because the reality is, like...
You just trade the food stamps for rent. Everybody know that. You're $100 short on the rent. You got to give her $200 of food stamps.
I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, I want you to get your nails did and all that good stuff, but you can just do this shit at home for like $5. But not even that. If you're choosing between... Well, I guess she was probably in the checkout when
she was $100 short on rent now.
Yeah, but she was probably in checkout when she found out. So it's like, okay, maybe I'll give her a pass for this one time, because she probably already got the service done and expected it to be EBT. But in the future, you are not choosing between nails and rent.
You should never be going into a place where you are getting a luxury service done, a aesthetic service done, and expecting to pay with an EBT card, though.
No, you shouldn't.
You should never go in there
expecting... That was blowing my mind.
Yes.
I'm doing all right. I don't need a financial audit. Just tell me to get a better job. You need a better job. It's like, well, duh.
Government assistance. My son back there with his mess. Government assistance. 3K food.
Not supposed to be a lifestyle. It's not supposed to be a brag about lifestyle. This is supposed to be supplemental. This is supposed to be catching you in a bad situation or making sure that your kids have food on the table, not fucking Reese's.
We're making flex TikToks about government benefits with Reese's and Airheads.
I'm gonna crash the fuck out. The millions of dollars that I have written in text, I want it to go to people that need help. This isn't help. This isn't help. This is making them fatter, less likely to work, more likely to need medical assistance also paid for by us. Fuck me.
$15 of your tax money went towards 2 packs of Reese's and some Airheads.
For that fucking day.
Bro, I'm really about to get your piccochini that boy. There you go, that collard green, yeah, that boy. Oh, yeah, that boy, oh, dirty, that boy, stink, yeah, boy.
Where'd you left this in?
That boy, that boy.
Mark, you left that in?
What the fuck is she saying?
Mark, you left the meme in?
Well, did you import that yourself?
No, Mark did.
Mark left in his own meme? I don't even know.
You're the one that cut the video.
I don't even know what was happening in there, though. I couldn't understand her without the meme.
No.
I heard it.
Yeah.
Like, a fucking dick suck. Like, why are we making a dick suck sound in a flex video of our EBT for Reese's for... Yeah. Hey, congratulations, woman. You're at the top of the world.
She's a winner.
The best among us.
We got some.
Like, why are we making
Put the video? Mark, you left.
Boy. Oh, really about the GTO pickle cheese now, boy. Hey, go ahead, Call of Duty, yeah, that boy. Oh, here now, boy, oh, dirty, that boy, stink, yeah, boy.
Mark, you left this in.
Now, boy, evil, that boy.
Mark, you left that in?
What the fuck did she say?
Mark, you left the meme in?
Well, did you import that yourself?
No, Mark did.
Mark left in his own meme? I don't even know.
You're the one that put the video.
I don't even know what was happening in there, though. I couldn't understand her with or without the meme.
No.
I heard it.
Yeah.
Like a fucking dick suck. Like, why are we making a dick suck sound in a flex video of our EBT for Reese's for... Yeah. Hey, congratulations, woman. You're at the top of the world.
She's a winner.
The best among us.
We got some quesadillas, shredded chicken and cheese. I seen that these is new to sale, so yeah, we're gonna try these out.
Fuck! No way, that can't be real.
Caleb, it was so real.
Alan, we are so fucked.
It was so real.
And I don't even remember what happened before that because
she showed off the chicken quesadillas. So okay, here's what this is the context. Her total was $987 at Sam's Club.
Okay, that's good.
Got a bunch of groceries. She spent $150 on everything. Everything free, is what she said.
Wait,
Her food stamps, her EBT, took care of most of the balance of her.
$150?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Hey, as long as it's actually paying for food and for the, the supplemental support that is needed to make sure your kids are taken care of, I'm good for it. Let's now find a way to get you the skills, education you need to go, hopefully get a better job and be able to provide that on your own without the government benefit. But it's okay that you're on it now if it means they're getting food and maybe you faced a hard circumstance, so that's okay. But the beep girl, I think batteries are probably covered if I'm not mistaken.
Let's
get them.
Let's hope that she got nutritious, delicious food for her kids. Let's hope that she got chicken breasts. Let's hope that she got steaks. Let's hope that she got salmon.
This isn't promising.
Let's take a look, though.
2 bags.
Okay, chicken.
2 boxes.
Okay.
2 cases of Kool-Aid Jammers. 2 boxes of powdered donuts.
Oh.
A box of cinnamon toast Crunch.
Okay.
Honey buns.
Oh.
Nutri-Grain bars.
Okay, these kids must be...
2 boxes of Little Bites. A box of Gusher Christmas. A box of crackers.
Can we take a fucking snack?
Cookies. A thing of muffins.
Oh!
Chocolate. Lemonade and blueberry.
Dude, okay, she got with the chicken wings, and I thought maybe we were starting okay. Everything else is just a fucking process and just fucking delicious. But horrible for you. Her kids must be morbidly obese.
She showed us sausage breakfast corn dogs, muffins.
Which, don't get me wrong, girl, I'm on your
Gusher.
side. But that's all you're getting? Not good. And it's meant for the kids. Remember, fucking food stamps is oftentimes meant for child poverty reduction. Because adults can go get shit done. Kids can't. They don't really get that opportunity.
The kids have endless snacks now.
I'm glad. Listen, you can't understand what the fuck RFK's saying, but I'm glad he's making it so you can't just have fucking processed, absolute horrible for you slop. Because again, the kids get overweight now, they're going to be less productive in school. So fuck. Okay.
The RFK food pyramid did the upside down.
A box of this variety of chips.
Okay.
A box of the back to school variety of chips.
The back to school.
A box of the flaming hot variety of chips.
And another chip.
A box of the bold variety of chips.
Fucking woman, please.
She bought everything but batteries.
Please, woman, please. Go back. You forgot one thing.
She bought everything but the batteries.
Please, lady, go
It
back.
could have been $160 spent and you would have had batteries.
I'll even pay for you to get them delivered. Please.
You pay the delivery fee on that?
I'll pay the delivery fee, please, woman, now.
No sodas. You can't get your coffee creamer. You can't even get ice cream. Hey, that's wrong. What am I to do?
What? You're to not eat that. Listen, I get it. It's fun.
Look
You want...
The coffee creamer, man. What? You can't get coffee creamer? But ice cream and sodas, I can get that. That makes sense. I thought it was just sodas. I thought they were just taking sodas off of it, which they should have done that years ago.
Nah, that's not what it's there for. This program's there to make sure you're actually getting the assistance you need to live a healthy lifestyle and not go hungry. That's all it is. It's not a spoiling program. It's not a program for fun. It's not a fun program.
When I couldn't afford ice cream, I wasn't buying ice cream. When I couldn't afford cookies or chips or snacks, I didn't buy them.
That's racist.
I bought rice, I bought chicken, and that's what I did. We thugged it out.
Chicken's definitely racist.
For a Mexican?
The rice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, but it was white rice. I would always do white, unseasoned.
You know, that's wrong. Somebody needs to do something about this. I know it's affecting everybody. You know, I eat healthy. I love my fruit. You know, I love my sweets too.
Okay, fruits are sweets. So the national sweets. You're not talking vegetables. Let's just be completely honest on this.
I love my fruits. I love my sweets.
You're not really.
No, you don't.
You didn't mention fucking vegetables or grains or protein. You're talking about ice cream and fruit. Fruit in your ice cream. And this is not affecting everybody. It's affecting those on food stamps, of which are the people that need that extra assistance, not ice cream. Sorry, lady.
This affects roughly 11% of the U.S. population, which is far less than 100.
That is true.
You said what, boo? I know, but don't get angry. I know how it is. I know. Don't hit me, baby. I know you angry about your food stamps. I know, but don't take it out on me. Calm bodies. Now, what do you want?
Muffins.
And what else? And you need your what to buy your muffins?
What's that?
You need your food stamps? I know. So right now, Miss Girl is so upset. She's missing her food stamps.
Food stamps to buy. Is this using her kid for content?
Is this us using her kid for
This is the video that I ran by you. Fun fact.
That is true. I gave the thumbs up. Listen, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Why does the mentally special individual know that it's food stamps? Why should she even know that?
I don't know, but she said, "What do you want?" And she said, "Muffins." And she said, "What do we need to get the muffins?" Food stamps. Don't you think that's starting a bad precedent for her child at a young age?
Well, I don't think her child's going to go out there and get an income. I think her child's always going to be on some kind of assistance. Of which, with her assistance, since she can't work, I might actually be okay with her getting muffins. But the mom sounds like she can go get a job. Unless she's forced to stay home for the kid, that actually might be possible.
It's a valid option. It's a valid possibility.
Yeah.
But
So,
should
there
we be pressing our kid on TikTok to ask for muffins with food stamps?
Especially that kid?
Yeah.
No. She wants her muffins. She wants her juice. She wants her noodles. She wants her hot dog. And she's over here throwing a tantrum. All because you want your what?
What's that?
I know, Lord, please. I listen. Come on now. I need y'all to help us. I need y'all to get this girl food stamps. I need y'all to.
I'm confused. Can she not get hot dogs?
I think she needs her food stamps to pay for the hot dogs.
So she's just not getting her food stamps.
I think.
Who took away her food stamps?
Give her her food stamps back now! Give her her hot dogs. Give her her muffins. Listen, I'm team hot dog and muffin for this young lady.
Yes!
I'm team hot dog and muffin.
Someone put their hot dog in her muffin.
Oh, brother!
Your muffin, you better know that's right. I know you want your muffin with your food stamp. Tell them to stop playing. Say it. Say stop playing.
Stop playing.
And give me my what?
What's that?
I know that's right, little bull. This is enough. Say enough.
Enough.
Enough of this foolishness. Say foolishness.
Finish.
I want my...
What's that?
No. I don't...
Okay, this lady's starting to weaponize her.
This lady is absolutely using her kid as an EBT weapon.
Yeah, that's I don't like that.
That's an EBT energy lady.
Somebody to fucking tell me they're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying. I need somebody to fucking tell me they're lying right fucking now, because what the fuck do you mean? And I'm not gonna give them fucking SNAP benefits. What the fuck do you mean? Because what the fuck is happening? Do you understand that there are people like me who cannot work?
What? hold on. Why can't you, first of all, and two, why does it even say liberal? Is it even, like, a lot of rural Republicans are on food stamps, too. That's not even like a, I don't understand why it politicized it, but even more than that, why can't she work?
I had no idea. That was just a TikTok caption. Fun fact. We found that from TikTok.
No, I'm sure.
That was just the caption that was
she
made.
was probably re-fucking, like, captured, but...
Why is she not able to... She looked able-bodied enough to scream at her phone in the kitchen.
Yeah, maybe she's like one of those people that get seizures the moment they do something, but then, like, why is she able to do that? I don't know, that's a weird one. I don't really...
Super weird one.
Do you understand there are people like me who have kids who cannot eat? Do you understand there are people like me who go hungry the last week of the month just so my kids can't eat? Because SNAP benefits is all we fucking get. Please fucking help me. She's lying. I can't. What am I gonna do?
Is that the performative final boss?
Yeah, she had me in the first half. Oh my fucking performative. That's so performative. Listen, I'll have sympathy, but I'm not willing to go full sympathy or full on her side or full against her until I see her budget. I guarantee you, I've looked at people in your situation's budget, lady. I've looked at those budgets. There's bullshit somewhere. There's no way there's not. I've had so many people with EBT on financial audit. There's still always bullshit. Let me see it. Are you actually going? First of all, you're not going hungry. No, she's not morbidly obese.
When is it coming?
She's not going hungry.
I mean, you'd have to do it like right at opening.
Maybe there's something more there, but she's not giving us the context that she's.
When is SpaceX IPO opening?
Because it's hard to believe people these days, unfortunately. And all she did instead was give us a performance and fall the
Like
fuck
today?
down, which
Today.
believe she's more trying to capture that sympathy than actually be real.
That thud was beautiful and impressive at the same time. You know, you
Friday?
make a
Alright,
conscious
cool,
effort
cool.
to post videos that
Yeah,
you make on
should be able to
TikTok.
get
Yes,
There's a
because-
conscious
something.
effort.
Let's pretend for a moment that that happened. She lost control. Okay. Well, then she had the moment.
Because it's almost,
Or she could.
in a way, it's almost like if you could invest, I don't know, that's way off, but I mean, imagine if you could invest in NASA. If you could invest in NASA, if you could be you could be somebody that invests in NASA in like 1975. I don't know. It's like, you know what I mean? Sort of different, but yeah, I mean, it's I don't know, man. I don't know. I think, yeah. I mean, if I got $100, I'll put it on it.
Chose not to post it. She reviewed it before posting it. You didn't have to post it. And at that point, when you get that performative, I have a hard time believing you.
It's quite the character.
It's really bad. Danielle Grant is starving.
Brother, may I have some oats?
I don't think Danielle Grant is starving, fun fact.
I am starving, brother.
Danielle Grant is not starving.
I think Danielle Grant is as far from starving as you can actually get.
Dr. Now has a 1,200 calorie a day meal plan, and I guarantee you she's not even close to that low. Her starving's at like 2,500.
Her breakfast is 2,500.
Fuck me.
Heard things before. It's like, that's like, they're not gonna let people starve. That's ridiculous. You know, but it's like, no, that's literally like what's happening.
Okay, first of all, people don't really starve in this country. Yes, there's anomalies here and there, but there are food kitchens everywhere. There are churches. There are a lot of things. If you're actually in that situation, again, let me look at your budget. There will be instances where there are people that will have it harder than ever. That's the thing but that's not her. I'm sorry, you do not look like that if you're starving. This is math. This is math.
We have an obesity problem. You've talked about it in the past. There is an obesity problem in this country, and nothing about her is starving. Her body could probably last 6 months eating itself before she is genuinely starving.
I don't know about, like, scientifically 6 months, right?
I'm not a doctor.
I mean, she would starve.
We are not doctors.
No, but she's not starving.
No. If she's starving, what are we?
Doesn't really last the whole month. You know, probably like 2 or 3 weeks, and then by the last week you gotta scramble to find, things.
Just let me look at your budget, dude. Easy as that.
Yeah, I don't think she's starving. I think this is a budgeting problem. This is a money problem. This is an effort problem.
All right, guys, I want to know what you think. Leave your thoughts in those comments below. Do you think people are scamming this? Do you think they're starving? Do you think it's 100% necessary? Should we allow fast food spending to be on?
Yay to you. Switch to Chronicles.
is the way you track your glucose with Stelo.
All right, well, hello everybody, and welcome. Hanging out, I got Elon and Ian Dahl with our Starlink team. Figured we'd check in. It's been a typical SpaceX year. Launched a brand new vehicle, acquired XAI, now SpaceX AI, announced a Terra-sized chip building project, and so...
Yeah, never a dull moment.
Yeah, never a dull moment, typical year. And so let's kind of wanted to connect some of the dots on how this all feeds into making like multi-planetary, starting to climb up the Kardashev scale, maybe show off cool new AI stat stuff. Let's kind of start galaxy sized and bring people in with the Kardashev scale.
What's the big picture?
What's the big picture? What's the Kardashev scale?
How do you decide what progress the civilization has made? That's the most objective metric that any alien species, say, visiting us would calibrate how much progress we made as a civilization. And one of the most objective ways to do that is if any given civilization has been able to harness. There was a Russian physicist, actually, by the name of Kardashev, who thought about this, and I think it's a good way to characterize it, which is you can have you can assess how well a civilization is harnessing the power available on the planet. That's type 1. And then type 2 would be how much of the stars' power are you harnessing? And then type 3 would be how much of the galaxy's power are you harnessing? These are very objective and measurable numbers. So right now we're very low on the Kardashev 1 scale. Like if you say, like, what proportion of our planet's power are we harnessing? It's a very, very tiny number. And basically we're harnessing almost nothing of our star's power. So the sun is truly an immense thing. It is difficult with words to characterize just how immense the sun is, but this gives you sort of a sense of scale.
Yeah, it's a big difficulty jump going from level 1 to level 2.
Very big difficulty jump, yes. And level 3, and we don't even know how to do level 3, really.
We'll get there.
Yeah, exactly. AI will figure it out.
Yeah.
One way to appreciate the size of the sun is to think about how heavy is the sun compared to all the rest of the mass in the solar system. So the sun is about 99.86% of all mass in the solar system. It's everything, and then of the remaining 0.14%, most of that is Jupiter, one planet.
So we're still lightweight.
Yes. The entire mass of Earth is in the tiny miscellaneous category. We're like Earth is a tiny dust mote compared to the sun.
But how much energy are we talking? Like coming from the sun, especially compared to what we're using here on Earth? So it feels like...
Yeah. The incident solar energy on the cross-section of the Earth is roughly 1/2 billionth of the sun's power output. And the vast majority of that we cannot use because 70% of Earth is water.
Yeah.
Technically our planet should be called water because it is 70% water, and I think an alien civilization visiting us would be like, why are they calling it Earth when it is mostly water?
We're the Greenland's not green of the solar system.
Yeah. A bunch of the exactly even we're 70% water. And then of the 30% that's land, a bunch of it is, Antarctica or, Siberia type of thing, very northern Canada type of thing. Very difficult to, not places people typically want to live, and you're not going to get a lot of solar power at the poles. So the actual usable area of land where you can get solar power is quite small. Anyway, in order to ascend the Kardashev scale, or in order to get to any meaningful percentage of the sun's energy harnessed, you have to go to space. If you wanted to get to, say, 1/millionth of the power output of the sun, you would have to increase civilizational energy harnessed by much more than 1 million. So we currently use much less than 1/trillionth of the power output of the sun. And 1 trillion is 1 million times 1 million. So basically we're basically practically nowhere on the sort of the Kardashev 2 scale, practically nowhere.
So in Kardashev scale, we're all still
We're
still
non-existent.
failing.
We're not registered. We're like not a. We're not even. Yeah. We're not registering.
Not even a microsol.
Yeah.
No.
And so to actually
One microsol would be an epic achievement relative to where we are right now.
something to aspire to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's our goal. And like this is, I think, both simultaneously an incredibly adventurous goal relative to where we are, and yet not particularly adventurous as a percentage of the sun's energy to try to achieve power harness being 1/1,000,000th of what the sun outputs.
And so to actually start
a microsol,
to actually start getting there, though, we're not just gonna throw solar arrays in space, try to soak up a bunch of the sun. Like there has to be a need. Like we want to go up there and do something meaningful. And obviously, until this point in human history, like there hasn't really been a need. What has changed to make us think that like maybe now's the time to start trying to notch a percentage point or two?
I mean, getting to 1% of the sun's energy.
Maybe not a percent. Let's go like we'll move the decimal point back.
So you're an extremely thick-ass civilization if you get to 1% of the sun's energy. And I'm like, wow, that civilization is going to be vastly more powerful than us, to say the least.
Yeah.
So in order to start to make some progress on the Kardashev scale, we need to launch satellites to orbit Earth and capture solar power, and that avoids the need to build massive power plants on Earth and deal with cooling, because cooling is actually much easier in space than it is on Earth. You can just radiate to a vacuum, and so what we're proposing here and what we intend to do is to try to climb the Kardashev scale to be kind of like a respectable civilization. So when the aliens, hopefully there are aliens out there, and they maybe finally decide to talk to us, you know, where we have some respectable amount of the sun's energy being used.
Yeah.
That's not like totally pathetic, which is the current situation.
And so before we start sending data centers, sending all of this to space, there are some limiting factors that we got to get through that would traditionally make it so like this is almost impossible.
Yeah, what does it take to scale?
Yeah.
So things it takes to scale are you need to have a large mass to orbit capability, which is what Starship will give us. That large mass, so you ultimately need to send millions of tons to orbit and beyond, and you need the power associated with that. So if you want to put 100 gigawatts or ultimately a terawatt into space from Earth, you will at some point need a terawatt of solar, and then you're going to need a terawatt of AI chips. So the three things you need are mass to orbit, a lot of solar power, and radiators, of course, and a lot of chips.
All right, well, let's start ticking down the list. So mass to orbit, that's where Starship comes in.
Yeah.
We just had first flight to V3. It was awesome. I know you were there. It was crazy to see that rocket launch.
Yeah.
And like long time coming. What's Starship's kind of purpose of being? What is it going to be doing?
Yeah, so Starship is going to revolutionize space, really. It's the first rocket design that is capable of full and rapid reusability. Now, reusability is the fundamental breakthrough that is necessary to make life multiplanetary, as well as to ascend the Kardashev scale. You simply cannot ascend the Kardashev scale unless you have a reusable spacecraft, and you cannot extend life to the moon, to Mars, and to the rest of the solar system without a reusable rocket. The cost is simply prohibitive. You can't make enough rockets unless you can refly them. Just like any other mode of transport, you can imagine that if we had to throw away airplanes every time we flew, flying would be far too expensive, and basically no one would be flying airplanes.
You're doing a whole lot more driving. Rapid reusability.
Yes. Every mode of transport is reusable, without which is simply not viable as a transport system. So cars, planes, boats, horses, bicycles are all obviously reusable.
Yeah.
With rockets, it's much harder to make a rocket reusable because Earth has a deep gravity well and a thick atmosphere. And these make it just barely possible to achieve reusability with a rocket. And there have been many prior attempts to create a fully reusable rocket. And most of those attempts have been abandoned partway through because they didn't think they could succeed. In order to achieve full reusability, everything's got to be perfect. It's the engines, the structure, the avionics, the choice of propellant. You've got to go to extreme measures for mass optimization, which is why we have the tower catch the rocket instead of putting on landing legs, which are heavy. The rocket can simply be caught by the tower. And we haven't achieved full reusability yet, but we do expect to achieve that hopefully later this year with Starship. And then you've got to achieve full reusability. You've got to go a step beyond that, which is make it rapidly reusable, such that the rocket lands.
But yeah, I could bet the SpaceX stock is probably going to do something similar to what Trump did, like the Trump coin. Like he released it and it spiked and then it crashed. So I would be ready for that. Like I would probably sell on the spike, and then try to put another buy order. Like once you sell the spike or whatever, I would try to put a buy order in for whatever it debuted at again. But it's probably going to definitely do that. Like, because everybody's going to want to put their money on it, and then everybody puts their money on it, and then the stock price is going to jump, and then the few people at the top, they're going to sell, make it plop again. Yeah, it might be a better idea to wait like 2 weeks, let it kind of fizzle out from the opening. But yeah.
It gets caught by the tower, gets put back on the launch stand, and can be flown again without any refurbishment or laborious inspection, like an aircraft.
Yeah.
This is incredibly difficult. This is the first time that there's ever been a rocket where that is possible. That's what makes Starship so profound. I mean, it also happens to be the largest flying object ever made, the heaviest flying object ever made, the most powerful moving object of any kind. Starship V3 is more than double the thrust of the Saturn V moon rocket. By version 4, will be pretty much 3 times the thrust of a Saturn V moon rocket. And we expect Starship to be flying more than once per hour down the road.
One of the fun facts from Flight 12, that was actually the heaviest payload SpaceX has ever flown.
More than once per hour.
A fraction of what V3 can do. So,
yes.
I mean, once we're flying massive amounts really rapidly, I mean, we already fly the majority of payload to space with Falcon. Do people even really understand what mass to orbit becomes when Starship is flying?
It's many orders of magnitude greater than what is the case today. So even with Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy, SpaceX delivers almost 90% of all Earth mass to orbit. I think somewhere between 85 and 90% right now. And then most of the remaining mass, I think, is launched by China, and then the rest of the world, including the rest of the US, is the remaining, 5 to 7%.
As hematologists, it was hard to watch patients have trouble with travel.
Now with Starship, we'll be aiming to go from somewhere around 2,500 tons a year to orbit to millions of tons per year to orbit, and to do so at a pretty short period of time.
Hell yeah!
So we think probably we can get to 1 million tons to orbit per year in about 3 years, thereabouts.
Starship is going to take care of the mass to orbit limiting factor.
Yes.
And then power generation. So first, and Ian, maybe you can help. People probably struggle to visualize a little bit when you say like data center in space. Like we're not going to slap engines on a building and fly it up there. Like these actually look like pretty different. And so kind of walk through how you take something that's in a giant building on the ground and turn it into something that's functional in space.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. A lot of people don't actually know what the inside of a data center even looks like, right? Yeah. And some like mythical place where the internet's in the cloud or something. Yeah, some people envision wires, some people envision boxes, but like effectively it comes down to a set number of chips and the things that we need to launch into space are actually quite small when we look at it. The more challenging part is figuring out how to get the power for it, and that's where a lot of what we've worked on for existing like Starlink technology, the solar arrays, are what we want to utilize that expertise to be able to build a satellite that can actually launch the critical components of the data center into space itself. We like to look at this and say like, what is the actual engineering problem here? And it's really a combination of delivering power and then taking the waste heat and energy away and sending it into the vacuum of space, as you mentioned. Yeah. No, the AI satellite is actually much simpler than a Starlink satellite. A Starlink satellite has gigantic phased array antennas. It's got parabolic antennas. It's got a lot of laser links. It's much more complicated than an AI satellite. An AI satellite is essentially a lot of solar cells, a radiator, and you still need some laser links, but you don't have all of the super complex antennas that you have in Starlink satellite. So, I mean, given the two, the easier one to design is the AI satellite.
Yeah,
it's just a little bit bigger. It's bigger.
Just makes stuff bigger. Yeah, I was like, so we've got. This is our AI1, if you guys want to walk us through.
Yeah, so the first thing that we're looking at here is like, first you've got to make something compelling, right? And we thought that the right place to start is around the 150 kilowatt like peak power level. But as we look at the workloads with our experience with XAI, we get to actually see that we can also support about 120 kilowatts of average compute. There's a difference.
Yes. So what we're showing here is kind of a
draft version of version 1 of the SpaceX AI satellite. The AI1, I guess.
Yeah, I'm logged into Uber. I've been logged in since
seems like a reasonable
before I
place to
started
start
live.
is 150 kilowatts peak power, 20 kilowatts
I'm just not hitting today, I guess.
and to give you a sense of what does that actually look like in terms of the size of the radiators, size of the solar
But I came
panels.
down this way because there's a Bob Evans and an IHOP. So I figured that early in the morning, sort of early. I figured that was 70 right now. Hell yeah. But anyway, the Bob Evans and the IHOP is why I've been sitting here pretty much.
Radiators are radiating both sides.
I'm gonna get down the road.
Oriented knife edge to the sun.
I'm hungry. I was hungry last night. Almost drove up to Taco Bell at like 1
We
a.m.
could probably do above 250 watts per square meter and above 1400.
But like, nah, I don't want to do that to this. Yeah.
Radiators respectively. But this gives you like this is pretty much what the satellite's going to look like. Yeah. It's a lot of solar panels, radiator, and then everything else is pretty small. Like
normal voltage. Waiting connection. Bluetooth connection success.
this is pretty much what the satellite's going to look like. Yeah. It's a lot of solar panels, radiator, and then everything else is pretty small by comparison.
And these are like evolutions of things that we have actually already launched in our Starlink constellation to date. Yeah. That's really, I think, the cool part to me is that we're looking at solar technology that we already are going to use on the V3 Starlink vehicle. So I'm like really excited to then just take those and make it bigger.
Yeah, part of what we want to convey here is that there's not some magic that's necessary that doesn't exist for the AI satellites. As Ian said, a lot of this is technology we've already made for the Starlink V3 satellites. So it's
we basically don't think this is a super hard problem compared to things we already do. It would also be probably something on the order of a terabit of connectivity, of laser link connectivity from the satellite. The 150 kilowatt peak power level roughly matches what, say, an NVIDIA GB300 rack would do. So if you've got a GB300 with 72 GPUs, its peak power I think is around 140 kilowatts. But it's almost impossible to get it to be at that peak power. A more reasonable operating envelope would be around 120 kilowatts average power. But it can peak up to 150. So it's basically, think of it as a rack of compute in space. And then you can connect these racks of compute to either each other via the laser links or directly to the Starlink constellations. So you can close the link with the Starlink constellation, and then Starlink can then send that data to the ground using the existing KA and AU antennas on the vehicle. It also has laser links to the ground as well. So, and this would not be at a particularly high latency. We're talking about maybe being around 600 to 800 kilometers above the Earth, and light travels 300 kilometers per millisecond. So that's it's about 3 milliseconds away. Basically, it's not very far.
Won't worry about that too much.
It's not. Sometimes people worry, think there's going to be some high latency. I'm like, no, speed of light moves pretty fast.
Light moves pretty fast. It's on one.
Yeah. I think the cool thing also is the radiators themselves are about the same size as the existing solar arrays for the V3 vehicle. Kind of in that realm where we're flying today.
Yeah. So I mean, they got about a 70-meter wingspan. So these are fairly large. We're talking about building a lot of them and putting them up there. But you like to say, like, space is in the name. Like there's a lot of space up there. And so even when you're talking thousands or even up to 1 million satellites, you got plenty of room to move around up there.
Yeah, space is really big. So it's not like space is going to get crowded. Space is enormous. Like if you zoom in close to the satellite, it looks big, but if you actually look at it relative to the Earth, these satellites are so tiny you can't even see them. So they're very, very tiny compared to Earth.
And I mean, we have about 10,000 Starlinks in orbit right now. Yeah. We've got a pretty good idea of how to operate just really large constellations and do it safely now, right?
We are the only operator that has any experience of that scale. It's a great thing that we have this background, so we know how tightly we can pack the satellites and fly them safely. That's a known goal when we look at the constellation.
We're going to be building a lot of satellites, and we're going to be building them here in Bastrop, right? So we've got this, which so we're in that building kind of in the middle, which
we're sitting in that building right now.
This is my first time here. The building is massive. Like you come around the corner, you see it through the trees, and you're like, oh wow. But we're about to kind of put this building to shame, aren't we?
Yes, we're gonna. In fact, we already have the solar manufacturing facility. It's under construction already, and then we will be building out the AISAT production building soon. So we expect to have the AISAT production, the solar production, and all of that operating at some reasonable volume by the end of next year.
So if anybody wants to work on AI satellites, this is kind of going to become the hub of that. We're also, like right behind us, the machines are humming. We're still making all of our user terminals for Starlink here. Yeah. That's not going anywhere. In fact, we're turning on new production lines for new units, right?
Yes. In fact, these are the new Starlink terminals, which we made in much higher volume than the current terminals. Ultimately, we think there's probably going to be a few 100 million Starlink terminals out there, and then the Starlink direct-to-cell constellation will connect directly to people's cell phones and enable high bandwidth communication directly from your phone to space.
All right. we're two limiting factors down. We've got mass to orbit, got putting solar, and a few third ones chips.
Yes. So at least in the beginning, we can obviously launch the chips that are already being made. So our current reference design is for NVIDIA Rubin chips, or could be either GB300 or Rubin chips. We'll also have a reference design for TPUs, and essentially you can put any existing chips into orbit. But the current industry seems to be, it seems like it's going to, I don't know, get to maybe around 100 gigawatts a year of AI compute. But that doesn't answer the question of, well, how do you get to a terawatt? That's why you need the terafab. Always looking at stuff. Yeah. In order to get to the next order of magnitude, you need a gigantic chip factory. And to give you a sense of scale here, we expect that the terafab is going to be around 100 million square feet, which is 10 times the size of the Tesla Gigafactory Texas.
And what, aside from just, I'm going to need Starship point to point to get from one end to the other, aside from just the size, what's going to make this unique, different from any other chip building operation on the planet?
Well, I think over time, there's going to be a lot of technology evolution with the terafab, but fundamentally, it's about scale. So even if there were no fundamental technology breakthroughs, you could simply scale the existing chip making technology with a lot of difficulty to a terawatt of chip output per year. That's, if you look at it just from the logic die standpoint, that's equivalent. That's like having 1 billion chips per year with a kilowatt per radical. So it's 1 billion full radical equivalent chips, each doing a kilowatt, and then you're going to need a lot of memory to go with that.
A lot of people today even think orbital data centers were like a decade away.
Yeah, I think we want to try to give people a sense of the time frame. At least the time frame we're aiming for. I mean, people should take this with a grain of salt to some degree, because this is just our best guess. So this is not a promise of what we'll do. This is what we are going to try to do and think we probably can do, which is to get to roughly an annualized rate of 1 gigawatt per year by the end of next year in terms of space AI compute, and then aspirationally scale that by an order of magnitude per year. So in 2.5 years, hitting an annualized rate of 10 gigawatts a year to space, in 3.5 years, maybe 100 gigawatts, and then depending upon what progress there is in chip making in the rest of the world and with the terafab, going beyond that to scale to a terawatt per year, which is
nice. I'm here in line at the drive-thru. Did I mention a drive-thru? All right. Here we are, drive-through line. Cars in front of us, cars in the back of us, all just trying to order. Heading up to the drive-thru. Did I mention a drive-thru? How'd you know it was a drive-thru? Be $250 for that. So the $250 is that. $250 is that. And then I don't really want that. That's the problem I'm having now. That's the problem I'm having. Did I mention the drive-thru? I gotta mention the drive-thru. Give it up for the drive-thru. Yep. Wow. Holy shit. Watch them take an hour to fucking order. I should have pulled up just a little bit more, I guess. I'll know next time. That totally deserves a finger.
Hi, welcome to Taco Bell. Can I help you with your order?
Hello, picking up a mobile order for Jimothy.
Everything correct on the screen?
Yes, sir. Oh my god, it's a drive-through.
Hey.
Hey.
Taco, but no lettuce?
Yes, sir.
Alright, should be coming.
Compound
Gotcha.
real estate bonds gives you a daily stable income backed by real estate. Paying 8. So we're living in a time that might be remembered as one of the biggest bubbles in history. And that's because in the next few weeks, your retirement account, your 401k, is going to be buying shares in some of the biggest IPOs in human history, even though you might not want to. Okay, how's that going to happen? It's going to happen because the rules of the financial system were just rewritten to make sure that your money is going to be buying it automatically. Now, this is actually more than just a theory. Larry Fink from BlackRock, which is the biggest asset management company in the world, said that your retirement funds and pension funds will be used to build out this AI infrastructure.
And so much of this money, not just the project, is going to be coming from the private sector. From savings accounts, from pension accounts, from insurance companies, on and on and on.
So let me explain how this is going to happen. In the finance world, there's a concept called the IPO, or the initial public offering. That's when a private company goes public, right? It's when investors all around the world are finally able to buy shares and invest in a company. And one of those companies that's going public soon is SpaceX. And the value of that company is going to be $1.75 trillion. Now, to put that number in perspective, it would make SpaceX on day one more valuable than every American defense contractor combined.
Bitcoin.
It would also be the biggest IPO in human history, even bigger than Saudi Aramco, which held that record since 2019. The difference, though, is that Saudi Aramco was the most profitable company on the planet when it listed, but SpaceX lost $5 billion last year. Now, the craziest part about all of this, though, is that the financial rules that are supposed to protect us from buying these overpriced investments at the wrong time were also just changed right before these IPOs. That's because on May 1st, the NASDAQ introduced something called the fast entry rule, which cuts the waiting period for a company to be included in an index from 3 months to just 15 trading days. And what it also does is it gets rid of something called the float requirement that would have disqualified SpaceX, for example, from being included. The rule change will also force index funds to artificially inflate how much of the company they'll have to buy. So what we now have is a handful of insiders that got in really early at low prices, and now they need to exit. And to exit, they need buyers. They need a lot of buyers. Buyers that are going to absorb trillions of dollars worth of stock at peak values so that the insiders can walk away. But finding enough of these buyers for the biggest IPOs in history is going to be really hard, unless you change the rules. Which means now your 401k might be the exit liquidity they need. Now the story gets even crazier because SpaceX is just the first company in line, but right behind it is OpenAI and Anthropic. They're doing their own IPOs and going public. So we'll have 3 companies with a combined valuation of about $4 trillion. So SpaceX, OpenAI, and Anthropic would leapfrog every other company in America, basically on day one. And that's why some people are saying that this is going to be a bubble, the likes of which we have never seen before, and we're all going to fund it with our own retirement money. So in today's video, I want to show you how this is all going to work and the accounting trick they're going to use to make this AI boom look a lot more profitable than it really is, and what you might be able to do about it. So with that said, let's get into it. Hi, my name is Andre Jick. Hope you're doing well. Come for the finance and stay for the AI bubble. So first I want to explain exactly how your money is going to end up buying all of these IPOs. This is why the financial industrial complex is as powerful as it is, because they control the flow of capital, aka the flow of where money goes. Here's how. There's something called the NASDAQ 100. It's basically the gold standard index for tech companies. It tracks the top 100 tech stocks. There's over $600 billion worth of investment products that track this stuff. Meaning, when a company gets added to the NASDAQ 100, every single one of these funds that tracks the index is forced to automatically buy that stock. And they don't get a choice or a vote in this. And that automatic buying is worth billions and billions of dollars in demand for whichever company gets added. So getting into the NASDAQ 100 is like being given a money printer. Because the moment that company is included, they get access to hundreds of billions of dollars in passive investment flows that have to buy their stock, whether they want to or not. Now, what's most interesting, though, is that the rules around getting into the index just changed on May 1st. The NASDAQ introduced something called the fast entry rule, and it changed 3 things. First, it changed something called the waiting period, because before, a new company had to wait until the NASDAQ's next yearly review before it could be added, and that could take up to a year. The fast track entry rule cuts that down to just 15 trading days. Now, the second thing it changed was something called the float requirement. A float is the percentage of a company's shares that are available for the public to buy and sell. Absolutely. So for example, if I was a company and I had 100 shares in total, but only 10 were available for people to invest in, my float would be 10%. Okay, in the old rule, the NASDAQ wanted a minimum 10% public float to even qualify for an inclusion in the index. But SpaceX is planning to list with a float of around 4 to 5%. So under the old rules, that would be an automatic disqualification. Now, the third change is a hidden multiplier, right? And what that means is for any company listing with a float less than 20%, the NASDAQ now artificially inflates how the stock is weighed in the index. So a 4% float gets treated as if it were 12%. A 5% float is treated like 15%. So this multiplier is now 3x, which means index funds are now legally required to buy more stock than the actual available supply would normally justify. Now, what's important to understand here is that the NASDAQ didn't just write these rules for SpaceX specifically. They wrote them for a whole class of companies, and SpaceX just happens to be the first in line for these IPOs. But right behind them is OpenAI and Anthropic, and they're planning to do their own public listings. So just 3 companies that are going public are going to be potentially funneling as much as $4 trillion worth of newly issued stock into passive retirement accounts within a couple months of each other. And the NASDAQ, by the way, is not alone. The FTSE Russell, another index, is doing the same thing. They are allowing the index inclusion after just 5 days. Right? S&P is doing the same thing. So what we have is every major index provider is racing to update their rules at the same time. Now you could look at this and say, okay, well, maybe the rules needed updating. Maybe the system just needed a firmware upgrade. Maybe. Some people say, though, that the timing of all of this is just very suspicious because every single one of these rule changes was announced just weeks and months before the biggest IPOs in human history, right? All of these companies are being listed within just months of each other. So that is the mechanism of how your retirement account will end up owning SpaceX, OpenAI, and Anthropic, whether you want to or not, because the rules are changing to accommodate them. So now the question is, well, why are they trying to force everyone to buy these companies, and why right now? Now, speaking of things that take money out of your pocket without asking, your phone bill. Most people are paying $60, $80, $100 a month for their wireless plan, and they've never even once questioned it. The system counts on you not paying attention. But the sponsor of this segment, Tello, is the exception. Tello's plans start at just $5. Unlimited is $25 a month, all on America's largest 5G network. There's no contracts, no drama, and you can change your plan anytime. You get free hotspot, unlimited texts, internet calls to over 60 countries. It's the same coverage at a fraction of what most people are paying. They also have over 14,000. Why are they trying to get everyone to buy these IPOs? And the basic answer is that these companies need to sell trillions of dollars worth of stock. And the only buyer that's big enough to absorb that much supply is the passive investment complex. The trillions of dollars that's sitting in our 401ks and index funds across the whole country. Because remember, passive investors don't choose what they buy. They just buy whatever makes up the index. So if you want a guaranteed demand for your IPO, you don't go to the investors and try to pitch to them. You just try to get into the index. But if the rules say, well, you don't qualify for the index, you change the rules, right? That is the name of the game. But for this game to work, though, they need something else. They need an epic story, right? They need a dream because investors love to buy the dream. And SpaceX has one of the best dreams ever told. Because if you ask anyone on the street what SpaceX does, most people will probably tell you something about rockets, right? Maybe going to Mars, maybe Elon doing something crazy. Most people's perception is that they're trying to make humanity become a space exploring civilization, and that is worth a lot of money. But behind this dream, SpaceX is actually made up of three completely different businesses. There's the rocket business that's made up of things like government contracts, NASA missions, reusable rockets, and last year, they did around $4 billion in revenue. That's a lot of money until you realize that's only about a quarter of the company's total business. The second business is Starlink, which is that satellite internet provider. They have 10 million subscribers across 150 countries, and they made $11.4 billion in revenue with 63% profit margins. It's all really impressive. So Starlink is actually genuinely doing really good. And if all SpaceX was Starlink and these reusable rockets, then maybe this is a completely different story. But there's a third business, and that business is losing a lot of money. It's called xAI, Elon's artificial intelligence company. But that company burns over $1 billion a month. So when you look at SpaceX and the three separate companies that it is, the overall picture is that SpaceX actually lost $5 billion last year. So Starlink makes money, right? Rockets make money, and then xAI kind of like lights it on fire. So what you're actually being asked to buy right now at 1.75 trillion is all of that bundled together at the biggest IPO values in human history. And the only reason that might not sound crazy to some people is because they believe in the dream, right? Which is this AI boom and the artificial intelligence is going to change everything and make everything grow forever and ever, right? Maybe, right? But some people say the problem with that dream is that if you look at the math, it just doesn't make any sense right now. Now, so far, I've explained the mechanism of how your money will get funneled into these IPOs automatically, and maybe how they might not be worth that much. But what I haven't explained is why are these companies trying to go public specifically right now? So one of the best theories I've been able to find about why they're all trying to go public right now is because this whole debt-based AI boom, right? The trillions of dollars in valuations and the record profits that are in the headlines about tech companies printing money, a big part of this is sort of an illusion. It's a paper illusion that is built on an accounting trick where money is passed from one company to the next, and back to that same company, right? Which artificially increases how much money it looks like they're making. Now, that strategy works for only as long as the markets stay strong. But remember, there's also a geopolitical context to consider and what's happening in the Middle East, because the longer they wait, the more likely that the financial markets could break by the reality of the supply chains. So they need to move fast. They need to pump up the value as high as possible and get as many people to buy it. So let me just give you an easy example of how they're pumping this, and then we'll get into the specifics. But imagine I lend $100, right? And then you use that $100 to buy a Pokemon card. That card goes up in value $1,000. I then get to write down on my tax return that I made $900 in profit, even though I never sold anything, even though that $900 exists only on paper. And then I use that paper profit to justify lending you another $5,000 to buy even more cards. Right? That is roughly a simple way of explaining what's happening between all these tech companies. So let me show you. A group of analysts at the Financial Times looked at something called the CapEx, which is capital expenditure, a fancy way of saying how much money Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, and Oracle are planning to spend on building out AI infrastructure between now and 2030. And then they looked at how much revenue those same companies are expected to make from those investments over the same time period. And so they asked, okay, are these companies going to make more money than they spent? And the answer for almost every single one of them was no. Under the most generous assumptions possible, assuming zero costs, no salaries, no electricity, no overhead, nothing, Microsoft's implied return on its AI investment was negative 9.2%. Google was negative 15.7%. Meta is negative 28.8%. Oracle is negative 35.6%. The only company that clears it into positive is Amazon at just 7.2%. These aren't worst case scenario numbers. Remember, these are the best case numbers, assuming it costs these companies literally nothing to build and run their AI infrastructure. They all still lose money. Now, let's look at how they're funding all of this. Where do they get the money to do this? This year alone, those very same companies have issued over $150 billion in what are called corporate bonds to fund this AI spending. Now, to put that in perspective, that is more than double what they were doing just 2 years ago.
Hell yeah.
And look what's happening to what's called their free cash flow as a result. Microsoft, Meta, Google have all seen their free cash flow margins, which is the actual money left over after spending, collapse towards zero when you account for their AI capital expenditure. JP Morgan's analysts are projecting that by 2027, several of these companies will have negative free cash flow, meaning they will be spending more than what they'll be bringing in. From companies that were just a few years ago, the most profitable businesses in human history.
Only for big thinkers, Mars seekers, and world changers, introducing Power Long Core. A concentrated portfolio of high growth.
But it gets crazier. On the other side of that spending, look at who they're spending it with. It is all with each other. OpenAI has committed $280 billion to Microsoft and $138 billion to Amazon. Anthropic committed $30 billion to Microsoft and $100 billion to Amazon. In total, OpenAI and Anthropic's spending commitments represent roughly half of Microsoft's entire revenue backlog, 54% of Oracle's, 51% of Amazon's. So what you actually have is a system where big tech invests into AI startups. The AI startups then use that money to rent computing power back from big tech. Big tech books the investment gains as profit and then uses that profit to justify spending even more. The money is mostly going in a circle. Michael Burry's company recently did a deep dive on this exact thing, and the circle only keeps spinning as long as everyone sort of agrees about the valuations, which sort of brings us back to the IPO. The second these companies go public, the valuations stop being whatever just a couple investors decided they were in a private funding round, right? They become whatever the open market decides they're worth. And if those numbers come in lower than what Google and Amazon have been booking as profit, then those profits have to get revised, right? The earnings that justified the stock prices get revised downward. And then the whole loop goes in reverse, right? So this theory says that is why the timing of all of this is so important to them. That's why they changed the rules. That is why there's such an urgency to get these IPOs to go public as fast as possible. They need these IPOs to validate the paper before the paper runs out or gets exposed by some conflict in the Middle East. So now the question is, well, has this happened before in history?
So this guy made a video and he's telling us a very interesting story.
Fucking girlfriend cheated on me with her cousin. See, shit like this ain't even funny because I wouldn't have.
Actually, I don't know if the volume's good. I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit.
Fucking girlfriend cheated on me with her cousin. See, shit like this ain't even funny because I wouldn't have even wished this on my worst enemy. Who the fuck prayed on my downfall this much for some shit like this to happen to me? Now, I'm not gonna drop no names or anything, but y'all know who she was, you know.
And it's just got her name to it.
I posted with her, you know, obviously she's my ex now. I don't even know why girlfriend, bro. We made content together. We dated for a couple years. Yeah. And all of that ended recently, bro. I had to call it quits, bro. As of last week, I had to call it quits, bro. I caught her cheated on me in my house. Keep in mind, all the bills in this motherfucker, bro. And she had the audacity to cheat on me with her cousin, bro. So,
honestly, man, that's insane. That is so, like, that's I'm so sorry. This is horrible. This is, what the fuck, man? What the fuck?
Lately, bro, I've been noticing she's always on FaceTime with this nigga, bro. And it's her cousin, bro. She's always on FaceTime with her cousin. But it's like, what normal person would think that's weird? Like that's her cousin. Like, I thought it was on some normal ass shit. Like, you know, like, I guess I didn't realize that they were speaking on the phone together. Yeah. That every time I would come near her, she would go on mute or whatever. But that's not the point. She was in the shower and I heard her talking on FaceTime. So that was like a red flag. So I walked near that restroom, like, this is my
So she's FaceTiming this dude while she's in the shower?
Restroom, then there's like
the shower of his house that he pays for.
Another room and another restroom up there. I walked near that restroom. The doors are locked, which is also suspicious because why are you locking the doors? But I heard her say the word gains, as in like gym gains, and I heard yams come out her mouth. And once I heard that, I'm like, who are you on?
Wow. What even is that?
So I have like a little cat litter box, but it's like a AI.
What does that mean? It's like thighs or ass.
I advanced $900 litter box camera, sorry, and it's in.
No, the cat litter box gave her away.
In her restroom. So I was able to connect to that shit. And I basically seen her at the mirror of her restroom with her phone plopped up. You know, the FaceTime shit was on, her camera was on, and she was on FaceTime just showing straight yams to that nigga. Like, I'm talking about 360s in the camera, grabbing yams, just everything, bro. Just butt ass naked, bro. And at that moment, bro, my heart sunk, bro. I was like, damn, it's GG's. She just cheated on me. But that's not how it ended, though. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Because I didn't.
Bro, that's the worst part. This video's not even halfway over. It's not even halfway.
I want to make it seem like I knew and I caught her and she was going to try to play victim. So I walked up to her room. I knocked on the door. I was like, let me see your phone real quick. I grabbed her phone and I noticed her like grabbing that shit, like, but like not really grabbing it to like a way where like she made it obvious she was hiding something. So I just grabbed it and sped walked to my room and then I locked my door. And that's when she started banging on my door saying, Kenneth, open the door. Give me my phone.
No matter what happens, we can't have any hidden resentment.
just making sure Uber's still connected. Trying to make some money today.
Resentment or bad feelings that could fuck our bond up. Like if we go through a quote breakup, it might not feel good, but no matter what, we can't have hidden resentment after or once people, it was the N-word, get in the next relationship or anything. If we feel something, we have to talk about it and then talk about it. I'm talking about both sides. You fuck with me? And it just started. We can resume this momentarily. This is with her. Wait, is this with her cousin? No. This is this. I read it. I read the whole thing. Y'all are gonna hate this. Are you ready? Tell me you're ready. Oh, I told y'all weren't ready for this. Favorite cuz.
Okay, I have clothes on. Can you open the door, please?
Oh, wait, let me read out. Yo, can I watch this, by the way? There's not going to be, like, any nudity that, like, she's sending him photos that are inappropriate, right? Yes, okay. All right, because, you know, like, it gets like that. I guess this is what we signed up for, the sacrifice. Bitch, this bitch is playing the coffin of Andy and Laylee in real life. This is insane. Who does this? What's wrong with her? Hello? Yeah, I feel you. I don't got words of encouragement or anything because I want to feel this shit either. We got to make a promise now. I just be worried about us getting like intertwined. Like if we had to end it, I would be heartbroken and have to go through these emotions again. That I'll feel, hey, dude, I feel you.
Hello?
Oh my God.
Kenneth, please, open the door.
Oh my God. Like I be thinking this shit isn't gonna go nowhere, not because neither of us don't want it, but because we can't, and that be fucking me up like on some really I wish we just weren't cut there. So she just goes out and says it. Oh my, there's no ambiguity, there's no possibility. Like what the fuck, bro? God, this is just a self-report after self-report. This is nuts. How soon do I know? Remember, whenever we both agreed that we'll always be close no matter what happens. What the fuck's she on, dude? Oh my God.
What's wrong?
Keep going.
You're actually like a psychopath, gang.
Can we talk, please?
Keep going. That's true. I know I'll never lose you. Shit in 4XD is fucking cool. It feels like a roller coaster. XD is fucking cool. It feels like a roller coaster.
Like you really like are fucked up in the head.
You really like, yeah, she really outdone herself. Like, this is impressive.
Please talk, please.
Nah, gang, we're good. I'm good.
Open the door.
I'm good off of you, bro. Get on my house.
Open the door.
Get on my house, bro.
Can I talk to you, please?
I feel like you think I am deeper too, because every time I think of the future, I always picture you in it. That's so damn cute.
Kevin, please, open the door. Let's talk first. Let me just talk.
No, this is it, gang.
Okay, that's fine.
They're gonna have a kid that's gonna look like a Bloodborne boss. It's gonna look like one of the unused NPCs. You know, like one of those bosses that like, oh, this is like too much.
Let me talk to you though.
What the fuck? I feel like, I think after Kentucky, I am deeper. I feel like that way more endearment towards you, also more disconnect from Kenneth. Don't tell me, dude. Don't tell me his name, Kenneth, the guy making this video. Do not tell me this. Kentucky? The more things... I actually think that this is the always thing on YouTube, is people that have like their kids in the videos all the time. I just feel like doing that, it's such a recipe for problems, you know?
Kids sleeping on the floor, his entire bathroom, some teenagers who can't fit, children calling their beds coffins, and you're still just scratching the surface of the worst van life TikTokers. Take for example...
I bet there's plenty of people that do this and they have like, I remember my mom said that they lived in a trailer for a while and they were like going around in like the fucking 60s or 50s or something like this, and they had the same situation. They weren't doing this and for TikTok then, right? I don't think I think this is just a problem with people that have this lifestyle.
Example, Red, White, and Bethune. They gained 11.4 million views by showing how terribly unspacious their kids' beds were. This should be illegal. Those kids are gonna suffer in that space, man. To make matters worse, the beds had rock climbing holds instead of a ladder, which their daughter almost fell from whilst trying to show they were easy to use.
So Molly's gonna demonstrate getting in the bunk and show you just how easy it is.
How will they get down in the middle of the night?
Bro, so they gotta play Fall Guys to go to bed? That's crazy. Who the fuck does that? Why?
When it's dark and they want to use the restroom urgently. What if they fall and hit their head? These so-called bunk beds were actually just shelves, yet the family still defended them as being spacious. At the same time, get this, the parents have a king-size bed.
The reason why we put a king-size bed in our bus is because it's our lounging area.
As well as a massive desk for editing TikToks, forcing the kids to do their schoolwork on a tiny kitchen table. If they don't help out with the van, the kids are punished publicly.
Last night, Molly chose not to do her chores, and if our kids don't do their chores, they have consequences.
Which the parents still defended even after heavy criticism.
Yes, our kids have consequences. Yes, if they don't do the chores, they're gonna have to pay.
And to the trolls, keep on talking shit, and I'm gonna keep on posting. See you guys on your For You page.
But wait, it's still...
Trolls, keep on talking shit, and I'm gonna keep on posting. See you guys on your For You page.
But wait, it's still...
That's your intro song every time you come in. The interview was crazy. There was like 6 people. Yeah.
This is so weird, bro. Because like at the beginning,
interviewed with 6 people. It's crazy, man. I would have just walked out. I would have just walked out. I would just been like, all right, well. I don't know. They tried to do that. I applied at this UPS store. I walked in the UPS store. That's what they tried. 3 people all scheduled at once for the same interview. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, all right, well, I'm out. I'm not about to compete, you know, head to head against, you know. It's like, I don't know why they made it like that, man. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks.
it was kind of like on their side, where it was like maybe they're just down bad for money and they're doing the best they can. But like recording the kids, like this is just like, what the fuck? Who does this? Like, there's a big part of me where it's like, I feel like and the thing is, if you think about traditional entertainment, how many people had like bad experiences as like child actors, like, you know, in Nickelodeon, for example, there's like that weird guy, and sadly other ones that we don't know about with other studios, etc. And so it's like, at least in situations like that, people have at least some degree of like help. But this, man, like this sucks. This is weird, man. Amanda Bynes' story hits different now. Yeah, exactly. It's just bad. It's not my problem. Yeah, I get it, right? It's just like, yeah, to me, it sucks, yeah.
It gets worse. Everything we've shown so far is in this bus here, yet they also have a van to take on holidays, which has even less space than the bus.
Come take a peek inside and see what we've done.
The van doesn't have bed for everyone, meaning one of the kids sleeps on this leather chair. Maybe there'd be a bit more space if they didn't own 4 massive dogs with a bed, yet they still have more space than the toilet. It's
Bro, this is like the point. This is like where they put El Chapo. What the bro? This is some fucking maximum security prison shit. This is insane.
cover nothing but a thick fabricated where
yeah, that's where they found Saddam Hussein.
They call the vehicle their vancation home, meaning when the kids get tired of living in the first van, it left with an even smaller one. Nomads doesn't have this problem. In fact, they first went viral.
Jesus, man, that's crazy. I think that this is probably where it's like the parents are really into living a certain way. I bet probably all of those have situations where there's like friction between them and the kids because the kids don't want to choose that lifestyle. I bet like whether it's like travel, sports, cooking, anything like I bet it's always like this with every single one of them. Like off-grid, yeah.
For how much space they had, leading to comments such as, I don't understand why y'all don't just buy an apartment. It's way cheaper than this. People came to their defense stating, there is literally no reason to be mad at this, except for maybe how their kids were living. They'd show their room in this TikTok, with the most notable part being that their eldest Addison was a 15-year-old teenager. Okay. You should ask your daughter how she feels that she has no privacy. At an age like hers, I'm sure she wants her privacy. Addison hates you. Just because this RV is nice, room for their clothes, it's no way to live.
Now, I'm gonna be real. I think that these girls are right. I do. I think that they are right. I bet Addison fucking hates it. Yeah, straight up. Like, if I had to live like that, I'd be out of my fucking mind. Now, it's not my position, right? Like, I'm not the kind of person that's gonna be a commenter and like, oh, you need to do this with your kids. You do whatever the fuck you want. It's not my problem. But like, if you want to ask my opinion, then yeah, it's probably true. Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure the teenager would love to have privacy.
Of course.
Get her a curtain or something. Well, the family did exactly this.
We did install these curtains over each of their bunks so they have a little bit of privacy.
But it was still just one of many other problems. The kids were in a homeschool program, yet it's...
I have another opinion about this, is that I think a lot of the people that try to put their kids into like lifestyles like this are probably fucking weird. Like, there's probably something wrong with them. And it's not like this person is normal except for like this one little thing. So like, you're gonna see a lot of these like kind of weird quirks, you could say, because of that issue. It's definitely the parent's job to realize and organize that she has her time. Even in prison, we understood that. Yeah, but the thing is, the parents don't understand that. And like, there's a lot of parents who are probably like, well, why do you need privacy? We're your family, etc. Like, I remember I had there's a girlfriend I had, and she said that she didn't want me to have any alone time. And I remember, like, I broke up with her, and, like, that was one of the reasons why... Actually, she broke up with me, but, like, I didn't even, like, I was not even trying to have a conversation about this. I was just like, and that's toxic, right? It is. It is toxic. But, like, and it is driving me crazy, people talk like that. And so I think that people just don't understand it, right? Alone time? Yeah, exactly. I would say, like, most people that probably post their kids all over social media, there's like probably issues.
Seemed most of their education was just walking through national parks where the parents thought they'd learn about life.
Our lives are one gigantic field trip, and so a lot of what the kids do is by learning from experience. So, for example...
Yeah, there's no way that they're vaccinated. There's no way those kids are vaccinated. I feel like this is a 0% chance. Yeah, bro, like, whooping cough would take out that whole van. Easily. Tuberculosis, done.
Today we went to a national park and we
Polio?
completed the junior ranger program.
Nobody gonna be able to drive.
It's incredibly educational. They're learning history from visiting different places around the country, and days that we are not going out exploring, they do a traditional homeschool curriculum, and then the days that we're exploring, we still count those as school as well.
So they just learn US history? Lol, when they go to college, they'll be in for a shock. Oof, that's scary. There's a reason schools aren't one giant field trip, and this is a very good point. Schools are for more than simply learning subjects. They help build social circles and prepare kids for a disciplined way of life.
But I know a lot of people have negative viewpoints on schools. Send him to a public school. Her public school, because you would need to learn how to interact. These are the people you're going to deal with in your life, and if you can't get along with people that aren't like you, it will ruin your life.
I'm Sally Carson, and I love dad bods.
It will ruin your life. That's it. No private school. Like, oh, she's going to get a better education. It doesn't matter.
Both of which are neglected when strolling around the country. But the kids did have
3 pet rats.
Why would you have a pet rat? It's
Absolutely
disgusting.
lying to you if I said that it does not smell bad.
It's disgusting.
Usually
Why would
it's
you
the
have
kid's
that?
job to clean the rat cage, but about once a month or two, my husband and I will clean it, and it just gets really gross.
as well as collecting firewood, as seen in Addison's day in the life. Yet people were still convinced she's gonna run away at 16, yet the mother went on to state, I honestly don't know a single unhappy RB kid. She'd even post the following.
Yeah, a lot of parents think that because the kids don't want to tell the parents that kind of stuff, but like, a lot of times whenever my parents would put something on me that I didn't want to do, I would fucking hate it. Like, I would hate it so much, but like, I would just have to deal with it. I would just deal with it. And that's just the way it is.
TikTok to try and convince the audience.
A lot of people ask us if the kids actually enjoy traveling full time and living in the camper, and I will have to say that while we were at the RV show in Tampa this week, Grace and Addison both went around and looked at campers because their plan is when they move out, they want to live in a camper together and travel the country.
Until another video told a different story.
Addison has struggled.
No, it doesn't. It sounds like it's a fucking nightmare, yeah.
So too, but it's a effing nightmare. I just want a private, normal life, but no, they had to ruin it with their crunchy way of parenting. It's all fake, by the way. Not what I meant when I said I wanted to take up acting.
See, I don't think my parents care about my happiness as long as I look the part and smile for the camera. They couldn't give less of a fuck how I feel. They guilt trip. Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? It's the guilt tripping, right? It's the emotional manipulation. Nah, parents that do this are just bad parents. Like, that's it. That's what it is. Like, it's just that simple. To be fair, this anonymous message could just be an impersonation to make the point. Yeah, I think you're right about that too. But it's also like, how many of you guys were in a situation like this with your parents that they were trying to push you to do something that you didn't want to do? And the more that then if you said like, I don't like this, then like you have some sort of like guilt trip for it, or like maybe with a girlfriend or something like that. Everything, like a lot of you guys have had this thing happen, right? And so like, is it really that unheard of that this thing that we can all relate to isn't happening? Like, come on. I'm not defending parents, but it's normal for kids to hate their house at some point. I don't know. Like, I mean, I remember growing up, like, you know, it was, you know, we were happy with this house. Everybody was happy here. You know, Zach's grandma's house, everything was fine. That's the family home. And everything, there were no problems. So no, I don't think that's normal. Yeah.
I'm frustrated all the time, I'm tired all the time, I'm bored all the time. Please stop supporting these channels. Stop buying into it. It's ruined my life and I can't say anything about it.
The channel didn't ruin your life, the parents did. It's the parents that don't give a fuck about you and just do it for attention and their own self-indulgence. They ruined your life. The channel didn't do it.
Since the
They'd have ruined your life without the channel.
I'm between 15 and 17 years old, and they were the oldest of 3 siblings, hinting it was Addison from Family of Nomads. Exactly who the poster was has never been confirmed, yet only a couple of months later, the family announced they were instead buying a house. Family of Nomads recently quit van life. Their kids seemed the happiest they'd ever been, while the parents were in tears as the RV was stored away. The eldest daughter has since vanished from the videos, with an unrelated comment
It's like,
summarizing.
who cries like that? Like, you a grown-ass woman. Like, what are you doing crying like that? Have kids. You shouldn't have some weird fucking lifestyle and then cry that your kids don't like it. Like, how selfish. It's insane.
What van life like for kids? RV kid here. Let me tell you, RV is hell.
Let's get it. Number 1. I just got my first order.
Normal voltage.
I've been logged on for as long as I've been live.
Waiting connection. Bluetooth connection success.
Number 1. Psych. Yeah, got him. Alright, I'm going after this red. Why? Oh my god. I could have totally made it through that light. The sound busted. back up. Come on, Biscuit. Come on, Biscuit Maker, go. Why are you... Okay, yeah. Because you needed to stop for this long? Yeah, you did. Spot before these guys cut me off. I knew they were just gonna keep right on walking. Should be ready. Why did they have to order a water? Because you don't have water. Your house doesn't have water. Alright. Water. Water. Gotta try so much water. Water. Oh. blowing through here.
Normal voltage. Waiting connection. Bluetooth connection success.
Hotter than fried potatoes. Yeah, hell, it's hotter than hot fried potatoes. Whew. Hot fried potatoes. Can you hurry up? You have to take long enough that the next car already shows up, so I can't actually do my turn. You have to take that long. Come on. Come on, hurry up. Shit. I'm about to stop. Alright, be ready. You weren't ready. You're not ready. You're seriously not ready. You weren't ready. I don't know why, but you weren't ready. plate Y97QUY. Y97QUY. Double check, make sure it's not an O. Pretty sure it's a Q. Yeah, it's definitely a Q. QUY. Y97QUY. License plate number. Mercedes. QUY. Y97QUY. Put some Hamburglar in it. Let's go. From downtown. You're too stupid to go. Yep, too stupid to go. From downtown. These people are from downtown. From downtown. What's up, Nick? I'm on a double. My first run of the day. They pinged me with a second grab. So I'm here grabbing it at the Chili's. It's going across the street to the hospital on the other side of the road. Easy 550. If it's ready. If it's ready, it's an easy 550. Oh, God. Margarita grilled chicken. Hopefully it's ready. Yeah, popping in. Just skeet across the interstate here. Says meet in lobby. Oh, he's got the blue dot tracker on me. Uh-oh. Come on, there's 2 lanes here. There you go. Yeah, it looks like your Prius has already been through some pretty hard times already. Your Prius looked about as fucked up as my Corolla. Woo. Margarita grilled chicken on the way. They grilled up a margarita. Sleeping? Come on now. It says meet in lobby. Meet in lobby. Where you at, buddy? Oh, you're coming around the wrong way. Yeah. Meet in lobby. Meet the lobby. Good job of meeting in the lobby. Met in the lobby. Confirm. Drive. Woo! 4th of July bicentennial brouhaha. I'm going for it. Still trying to go for it. Trying to make it down to this light before it turns green. Oh, that was Chili's. Sorry, man. I didn't realize. All right, get ready. I just ain't got it today. Yeah, I feel like I need a nap. Number 2. Yeah, I had that Chili's I grabbed. I think that's what you were asking about. What place is this now? That was Chili's Southwest Grill. And it went right across the street from the hospital. And then this is the, I had to pick up an Italian restaurant before that. That's where it goes. About a mile till it's there. But yeah, $5.50 on the one and $7.50 on the other. It's almost like it's hotter today than it was yesterday. I think it's because it's getting ready to rain. It's supposed to be rain later on this afternoon. Early evening. It's supposed to be a rain. So that's why it's extra muggy, extra humidity right now. It's supposed to be pouring down on us later. Sunday, bloody Sunday. really hot. It's this hair. This hair adds 10 degrees. I'm telling you. Hair adds 10 degrees. Like stuck in stupid bitch mode. I appreciate y'all hanging with me. Getting the viewer time up. View time, man. About to pop over, man. I have to roll over. I gotta double down on subscribers. I might have to go back to making videos because the videos they had a broader reach, a lot broader reach. I don't know. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Kev's betting by the end of August. The end of August, I'll be at 1K. I'm hoping for the end of October. The end of October would be nice. But yeah, the view time, I could be about 10 or 15 more days from hitting the 3K mark. Probably just 10 more days. I need like 700 more hours. And then they're like a week behind too. These last 2-3 days have been pretty good. So I don't know, they're like a week behind. I bet I probably only need like 500 more hours of view time, to be honest, to get to the 3K mark. But I was thinking, like, you know, like, honestly, Twitch is the better place for a live streamer, because, like I said, Twitch is mostly all live. Like, almost everything on Twitch is live. That's like the whole thing of Twitch, is that it's live. The YouTube would, I don't know, YouTube would definitely be the better place to just be posting like a long format video. But I'm having fun either way. And then there's a lot of my crowd is 40 and 50-year-olds at this point. So I don't think they're going to be on Twitch. You know what I mean? I'm going to alienate my audience. And then to get on Twitch, even, man, it's like I still gotta figure out what I'm doing, because like there's one app I found to do the multi-streaming. One app I found, but they wanted damn like $20 a month to be able to do it. If the thing just does it, I don't know. Now my lighter's missing. My lighter's gone somewhere into the abyss. Okay, I found it. Whew. Hot one out there today. Held it on it. But yeah, the shorts, man, I don't know. The shorts are doing the most help as far as getting subscribers, but I appreciate y'all hanging out, man. Appreciate the likes. A little bit of likes go a long way. Still got the Uber open waiting for them. Whenever they want to bring me one, I'm ready for it. Pre-spent like $100 just because Bitcoin looks so attractive right now. I can't help it. You know, I'm like wanting to see how big of a decimal I could make before the price gets, you know, goes crazy back over 70 again. Trying to slam as much as I can on it while it's under 70. Just such a deal. I feel like I can't not buy it. I'm like from 11% up to about 13% already. doing? What's up? Yeah. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? Just leave it. Alright. Oh yeah. You was looking at me all weird. Yeah, you gotta do what you can't do, you know what I mean? Noon o'clock. Got two done. All I can do is try, man. But yeah, lately I've been having a little bit more of an audience later in the day. I had like 4 viewers hanging out until about, it was about 1:30. I cut the live stream last night, about 1:30 in the morning. I might start later so I can keep going later. Barnacle Man. This looks ridiculous. I gotta put the shades on too. The shades will help complete it. Sort of. Sort of. It's alright. But now I look like an actual YouTuber. You know what I mean? With the hat and the sunglasses on and the Dogecoin shirt. I look like an actual YouTuber. Yeah. The shirt got beat up real fast, man. Surprised. Like the Doge is already starting to come off just from wearing my seatbelt. The seatbelt rubbing on the shirt, the Doge, the letters are already starting to be rubbed off. Just cheap shirt. But it wasn't even 20 bucks either, like with shipping and everything. So yeah, it's a good cotton material. It's not like a, I don't know. It's just the print on it, the image that they printed on it. A little slacking. How you doing? How you doing? Got 3 viewers. Nope. Well, we had 3 viewers for a second there. They might have been scrolling over for a quick second, and then they stopped. They hovered. First impression thing. Yeah, they didn't actually click on it. Anyway, just hanging out, waiting for order number 3. No, I ought to be alright. Ought to be alright. I don't know why they're cruising so fast. Just like zoom. But yeah, it'd be nice, man. I think YouTube might even pick up during the summer too, because kids out of school and stuff. That's about what I'm thinking. YouTube probably picks up during the summer because school's out. You know, more people online. More people online for the wrong thing, you know. Conversation always ends up breaking. Dr. Disrespect. Damn, they flew by. How y'all doing? We're gonna have to figure this one out, man. Well, I might drive up into Gainesville. I don't know for sure. I'm thinking about it. I might drive up into Gainesville. It's a decent amount of gas to do that, though. So I don't think it'd be a bad idea. I might could do that quest. I could do the quest in Gainesville. Knock that shit out real easily. I don't know. There might be a bunch of people driving in Gainesville too because it's a college town. There might be a bunch of people on Uber as a driver. I've never tried it. I don't know. Well, I don't know. The first guess would be to go. First guess would be just go ahead and go. My second guess would be like, man, it'd be smarter just to stay here. See what you get out of staying here. Just stay around here, hang out, do your thing. Pop it in reverse when you have to. Whenever you have to pop it in reverse, you just pop it in reverse, you know what I mean? It's not a big deal. See if I get some new people. I bet sitting like this will be a little interesting. People come in. How y'all doing? What? I'm thinking right now. I'm not sure if I should go up into town or if I should go just hang out where I'm at. Calling by station always ends up breaking. How you doing, man? Welcome. Yeah. Everybody's just hanging out, man. Got the AC going, hanging out in the shade. Wasting another day away. Nothing better to do. Well, hell. Well, chat's dead. They didn't have a tall enough ladder. Couldn't even do it. Anyway. How y'all doing? Feel free to chat it up, man. That's why we're here. We're here for Chattanooga. Good old Chattanooga. Well, hell. Well, it's almost 4:20. A little bit of ways, but still, it's almost 4:20 now. We're gonna get ready. Go ahead and get ready for our 4:20 meeting. .420 meeting of the minds. Hell yeah. But damn, it's like slower than it was on Monday today. What the hell? Woo-wee. Oof.
Only a matter of time before we got around to SUVs too. Whereas I had some sympathy for truck buyers who maybe needed it for their job, most of these SUV buyers shown today are literally just shooting themselves in the foot.
100
and $15,000 for a 2026 GMC Yukon.
Imagine spending $100,000 on a Suburban. Right, this is a high country, and it's sitting on steel wheels. And I'm not joking, $95,000. It's kind of a joke. GM won't let you keep these.
Reminder, no hate to anyone actually buying within their budget or especially with paid off vehicles. We love to see responsible vehicle owners on this channel. However, if you're a regular here, then you already know that those will not be any of the people shown today. I get that the economy is tough right now. I've got plenty of videos on that, but no one asks these MFs to take a $100,000 loan on a brand new 3-ton infantry fighting vehicle just to commute solo to work in, only to bitch online about their 16 miles per gallon as if that wasn't the consequences of their own decision. Like, it's insane how many of these people drive their massive SUVs completely solo, no kids, a lot with no plans on even having kids, just to deliver food, and I genuinely do not get that.
I'm working Uber right now. I bought a car from you guys like 2 months ago. The car I bought from you guys was a 2025 Toyota Highlander. Right now the payment is $11.50 a month, man.
Yeah, that's a lot. You have a Porsche customer that's using a little bit too much gas on DoorDash.
Man, is there a way we can return this thing, or maybe we could swap it out? So, you know, I've been using it for DoorDash last night and today in the morning, but man, they just use too much gas, man.
Having said that, I will not be mentioning a bunch of statistics this video, as the overpriced car epidemic already takes care of everything you need to know about the state of the car economy right now, so I highly recommend you watch that video after this one for more context. But for this video, let's just move straight into the stupid, goofy-ass loans, and trust me, we've got plenty of them today, and they get more and more ridiculous as time goes on. So you're going to want to bust out your favorite meal, because this will be the longest episode yet.
2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Cherokee for $1,500 a month?
Hey, listen.
Why? At a 14.18% interest rate as well. Oh!
You're paying almost $1,700 a month for this car, brother. And it's the baseline Highlander. They opened up a credit card for you so you could put a down payment?
Yeah, they opened up a credit card.
What? What dealership was this?
Toyota.
How much did you pay for the car?
Oh, they didn't even tell me.
They didn't tell you the car price, brother? I mean, you had to sign something. You didn't sign any paperwork?
Yes, I got the paperwork, but I didn't know how much they told me for the car, because I didn't really know about stuff like that, and I went just like that.
Chapter 1, the stupid SUV buyer epidemic. These people taking out $1,000 a month car payments when they barely make $3 to $4 grand, like the truck guy from last video, that's just self-inflicted bullshit, right? That legit has me pressed. Irresponsible purchasing MFs do not deserve to have a seat in the group therapy session. I want to make it very clear. The economy is indeed tough right now, and you can watch my other videos covering those topics, but these MFs do not get to cry about that, since they have absolutely created their own hardship and done this to themselves.
A $700 a month car payment is not normal.
Okay, but considering SUVs are $75,000 to $95,000, and if you finance that amount of money for 5 years or less, you're looking at a $1,200 to $1,500 a month car payment. So no, it's not normal to have a $700 a month car payment if you're driving a hoopty. I think normal is a spectrum.
The average car payment getting higher isn't an excuse to drastically overshoot it and make it even worse. Oh, but of course car payments are higher. 75, 95 grand, that's the normal SUV. That is not normal SUV prices. Stop this absolute propaganda. Also, why are we calling anyone who isn't putting up with a $700 a month payment driving a hoopty? Either you deal with these new car prices or you go put up with a hoopty. That's a bit black and white, don't you think? Post-COVID, probably 2 to 5 grand buys you like a hoopty, but there are plenty of 20 grand vehicles that you can buy that are far from hoopty status. So let's take a look at real average car prices then. 50 grand is the real new vehicle average, and 25 grand is the average used vehicle price. Both of these are backed up by actual data and statistics. So regarding 25 to 50 grand especially, this still buys a very nice SUV, car, or truck for $500 a month. We don't have to be getting nearly $100,000 monstrosities. Like, it's even sadder that some of these people are deep into adulthood, like double my age possibly. and they should have their lives already figured out. And instead, they're just kicking down the ladder, and each time they take these ridiculous vehicle loans and emboldens dealerships, it makes it harder for us younger folk to actually get good deals from car dealerships. Just like with the 100 grand trucks, loaning a 100 grand SUV is the most avoidable foot shooting I've ever seen my entire life. They do not get the luxury of complaining about gas prices, hard times, and layoffs, especially if they still have a job, still are getting paid above the median salary, but also willingly choosing to loan a $100,000 vehicle that gets them 16 miles per gallon. Wow, the consequences of my actions, who would have guessed? My younger peers will always get my condolences, and they absolutely have permission to hate the state of the world right now, since they are at a legitimate disadvantage regarding building equity in the soul-crushing economic state in this world right now, because it's hard to save money when every single penny you make has to be used on your living expenses. But come on, these SUV buyers who screw over their own lives, they had the most avoidable financial situation, but they still got themselves in it. Zero accountability.
Remember Starship Troopers, the terrifying insect swarms have arrived, and an interstellar war has erupted. Feel the suffocating pressure of the galaxy's survival in Xeno Warpath, perfectly recreated in 1-to-1. Relive the pulse-bounding thrill of the insect invasion. Seize planetary territories and quickly build your defense lines. Harvest massive resources with one tap and instantly upgrade your city. No more tedious waiting. Different planets, different survival strategies prepare for a fresh and unique gameplay experience. Lead your army into epic battles against the swarming insects, reclaim lost territories, and rebuild your home. The ultimate rush of intergalactic warfare is here. Are you ready for the challenge?
Look, this guy just dropped an Oathsworn sword. Why isn't he picking it up? He can't be AFK, right? Let's go sneak attack. No way! Turns out the guy's just here fishing. One hit and he insta-jibbed me. He even shattered my knight armor. Oh, a small gain can cost you big. Now I gotta go back to the verdict blade and farm minions to catch up. Hopefully they drop something good. Huh? This gear roll is interesting. Gear you get has a 5% chance to ascend to a higher quality. Let's test it out. Then we'll run a dungeon and Mecha Summon. Whoa! First stage, drop the Abyss set. My power jumped by over 200k. That's insane. Don't run, you little punk. I'll knock you flat.
Chapter 2. But I have a kid.
Nobody warned you buying your dream mom car means a $230 fill-up. Obviously, the ridiculous high car payment and insurance aren't the only cost to the vehicle, but maybe I should backtrack that statement. I guess it's not obvious to some. Why are we driving a Denali with only one kid? I'm just laughing because the amount of examples that I've seen of this exact scenario, along with the justification from the creator. We figured it made sense to upgrade now. We'd love more kids in the future, and my old car was over 14 years old. Wanted something safer for our baby. As if a car made in 2012 is just bound to blow up on the side of the road. If you bought a $100,000 Denali, putting gas in it should be light work, and nobody needs a Denali. You bought it for status, not practicality. Kinda hit the nail right on the head there.
Well, if it isn't the usual Karens at it again, why are we buying massive 3-row vehicles over 80 to 100 grand just because we got one kid, or one kid is maybe on the way, or sometimes they don't even have any kid, they're just speculating about having kids so they're not even pregnant yet. Now, first off, congratulations if you do have a kid or more. Having children is still great. This is not something I'm going to ever downplay, and that is not what we're bashing this chapter, all right? Just rather, let's focus on the objective things instead. Your kid deserves a family with a stable income and parents who aren't impulsively buying something that they genuinely will not care about. Your kid is not going to notice the luxuries of it. I did not care about the 1990 Chevy Lumina that my father drove my mother, brother, sister, and myself around in. We don't need these massive 7 to 9-seater vehicles to carry a literal baby or toddler who would easily fit in the backseat of a Mustang, even much less a cheaper sedan, hatchback, or very comfortably in a normal crossover or compact SUV.
So I'm not buying a new car. That's wider than 17 inches. You're not going to be able to fit it. You will.
Most kids do not care about status symbols or luxury badges. They haven't learned that yet, and better yet, it doesn't kick in until they hit the identity surging phase, which is around post-puberty or their teenage years. Even then, if they're a really smart teenager, they're not gonna identify themselves with items because that's the saddest shit ever. Like, shout out to my younger Gen Z audience watching, since by choosing to watch channels like this instead of brain rot, you will statistically have a brighter future ahead of you, because you guys won't be the ones falling for these stupid slop consumerism trends that I'm still seeing plenty of 20-somethings fall into. And
Brainless consume.
Off and then ready.
Pink. Shit. 3, 2, 1.
And like being 22 is now mentally the same as like being 14. It's such a tragedy. We got a bit off topic, but I'm glad we talked about what we did. A 25 grand compact SUV or sedan would have done the same job. Your kid really won't care. Like, speaking of social media, I hate this parent cosplaying culture that happens online now. There are definitely so many more videos that cover it better than I do. However, I just want to mention it here because it feels like to some people, having a kid is a novelty. It's not actually about bringing a beautiful life into this world. It's like, ooh, I have a kid now. I get permissions to make fiscally stupid decisions and just say, oh, I'm doing it because I have a kid. Oh, I'm not being financially stupid. We're doing it for the kids. Memories are priceless. Your kids are too. They won't even remember the Disney World trip in your 100 grand SUV. And people do this, not just on Caleb Hammer Show. They openly admit to this on TikTok and Instagram.
We talk about the kids.
All right, may I be insulting? Oh, thank you. Good. You guys are trailer trash. Disney?
Yes. Memories for the kids.
Half of them do not have memories.
Let's stop acting like these MFs were just looking for an excuse to go to Disney World. Like, I get taking your children when they're like 5 to 7 years old, since they'll actually be tall enough to enjoy more of the rides and they're gonna remember it. But I'm so tired of this social media parent cosplaying where it's so performative. They just like, oh, I have a baby, guys. Look at my baby, 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 baby. Instead of like giving your baby the privacy it deserves. Like, there's some really huge social media stars who even know that. Why is it so hard for some literal parents to know that? Like, it's just weird to me. It's okay to tell your family and a few friends, but I just don't get this. This is so detrimental to the baby's future. Like, some of these parents are even buying luxury clothing for their babies and toddlers who will literally outgrow it in months, not even years. And these aren't rich people like they like to portray themselves as. Brokies. I've got a whole epidemic about this. It's just sad. It's wild how many parents are going into debt, flexing their children like they're a status symbol and not like the precious form of life that they actually are. These are literal humans, not objects to be flexed online. Like, I could go on. We're going to save this huge rant on evil parents for my bad parenting epidemic video, which I promise I'll get around to. I know I mentioned it like a few months ago at this point, but I'm still finishing up moving and changing into like my new home. And you know what? That's a bad excuse. You got my ass. Unc's just being lazy. I'll get on it. Anyways, next chapter.
I'm an AI dream girl, but in my world, people call me a guide. Guiding you? Easy. You want pics, vids, custom look?
A lot of people are not willing to sacrifice their lifestyle, and so they get into debt by doing so.
You need to take out $100,000, $200,000 loan and go buy the dream car that you want.
So I mentioned reeling in desire in my overpriced truck epidemic video. If you haven't watched that, absolutely give it a watch after this one. And if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to annihilate that like button and subscribe for more epidemic slop.
I'm sitting in my paid off Ford Expedition 2018 to be exact. Take a wild guess about how much a brand new 2026 Ford Expedition would cost for a lease. Okay, I'll let you guess. $1,700.
I already said this in my truck epidemic video, and I'm gonna say it again. I own a Ford, but even I'm aware I would never pay that much for a Ford. It's a Ford. Why do Fords have the same payment as an entry-level supercar? Like, not even a Ford Shelby Mustang, or heaven forbid a Ford GT. Like, yeah, I get why that costs that much. We're just talking a normal-ass, regular-ass traffic Ford Expedition SUV. There are literally hundreds of thousands of these on on the road, if not millions. I'll look up its production number. Isn't a 1 of 500 Ford GT. If it's not that level of Ford, I don't know why these people are going deep into the thousands of payments. Like, enjoy your paid off Expedition and don't let these dealers ever try to play you like a fiddle like that again. Have some self-respect. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, the fact that she walked out of the dealer, absolute W. This is what I mean by, like, if you're really anti-consumer, if you really are, like, put your money where your mouth is. Literally put your money where your mouth is. I don't get why some people get butt by the dealer and then they morally grandstand about how, like, they hate the economy and how, like, they're so anti-consumerism and blah blah blah. Yet there they are, and they go, no, you can't criticize me. No, are you gonna make my payments?
My car payment costs the same amount that rent costs, so no kidding, I'm going to be in my car 24/7. Are you in your car again? Yes, I'm in my car again.
Sounds like bad financial decisions, to be honest. And then we got another comment. You guys complaining about our car payment, but I don't see anybody offering to pay for it. And the creator responds saying, amen. So you decide to post this video on social media for the entire world to see. And then you're surprised that people are criticizing your bad financial decision. Because if you could easily afford the car, you wouldn't be complaining in this video. Some people's thought process is just absolutely baffling to me.
Oh, are you me? I did it because I'm happy. And they're not happy because they literally talk about how they literally regret making the decisions they make.
And after the dopamine subsides from getting a new car and showing it off on Instagram and to your friends and family, this is what happens a majority of the time. POV, the high of buying a new car wears off and you realize you can never quit your job now. Man, those paychecks used to hit before those car payments. Almost 25,000 likes on that comment alone. Walked in with no car payment or debt and left with $33,000 in debt and a $550 payment. But the salesmen are going to say that you got a good deal. At least it wasn't a $750 payment. Laid awake the first night thinking about the 7-year commitment I just made.
Like, I feel sorry for the suckers who do sign these loans and regularly sign off on payments like this, though. Like, sure, we can hate the dealers because I still think they're scumbags, but genuinely, it's on you to still read the fine print, read what you're signing, and more importantly, not get into these situations. Like, I think it's a huge difference if someone got scammed by a dealer on a 30 grand car.
What is one bad financial decision that you regret making in life?
Buying a car from a dealership. My car is worth $4 grand, but it's low key. I'm paying maybe 20 grand for that.
So what you mean by that? Like, you got a high interest rate?
Yeah, high interest, and then also they sold it to me for 18 grand, right? So my car is like maybe only was worth 7 when I bought it. Now it's worth like 6. Yeah. And I still gotta pay that off. And the APR rate is 30%. Wait, hold on. Let's talk.
Versus someone going in for a 100 grand car. If you're going in for a car that's priced at 100 grand, you're already like preparing yourself for high payments. Like, unless you're literally a millionaire, I don't get why someone would do that. And then they do $0 down payments and do it for 84 months. That's pathetic.
When broke people say, I can afford this, you know what they're saying? I think I might be able to pay the payments. If you don't want to be broke people anymore, you get out of the land of payments. But it felt good when you bought it, and Mama's going to be pissed at Dave Ramsey because her husband called the show and he said, you're stupid. And Mama loves that car, I'll just tell you.
And again, they're doing all of that just to look like a soccer mom. I refuse to call minivans soccer mom vehicles. I'm tired of hearing 40-year-old Karens say that. Like, I don't want to drive the minivan. That's what my mom drove. It's just soccer mom vehicle. You're all in SUVs now. Can we please retire that stereotype? Literally all of you Karens, it's not just Karens anymore, Steves, male Karens, tech bro Kevins, you're all in SUVs now. From Jeeps to Teslas, Fords to Kias, they're literally companies that don't even make cars anymore because they just sell SUVs because that's how many people want SUVs and drive SUVs. Porsche literally sells way more SUVs than any other vehicle that they make. They just don't want to say it because then they know that they finally have to accept it. Like, straight up, SUVs are the new soccer mom vehicle. Can we stop this minivan slander? It has been decades at this point since the minivan was a soccer mom vehicle. And anytime someone calls a wagon a soccer mom vehicle, they should just be put in the retirement home because generally that has not been a thing for like 50 years now. Brother, I cheer aloud to myself if I see a wagon these days. They're so rare in the United States. It's actually like finding a shiny Pokemon. You are such a cool mother if you're driving a wagon or even a minivan these days. And thankfully, like Gen Z, we're aware of this. Like, I'm tired of hearing people try to tack that on to wagons and minivans, especially wagons. That is 50 years ago.
It's really simple. You can pass the first level just by drawing a few random strokes. But in the later levels, no matter how you draw the line, the dog will get stung by the bees. If you don't believe me, come and give it a try.
What? Bullshit off.
Barbatos, Ares, Prometheus, Merlin, Caled, Squint-Eyed Ballad, Seraphim, Tiger Dragon, Bronze Dragon King. The hype for this game is real. Hundreds.
Let me show you exactly how to calculate how much car you can afford based on your income.
Chapter 4. What is affordable? Okay, so what does actually being able to afford nice things look like? Contrary to popular belief, you don't actually have to buy something in full to be able to afford it. I'm not actually going to be mad at people who loan vehicles. I've said this throughout other videos, but here's the accepted rule to follow if you are going to loan something. 20% down payment is what 20 means. 4 years, aka 48 months, and then the payment should be 10% of your monthly income.
You are allowed 10% of your income to go towards total transportation cost. That does not mean your car payment. That is an all-in number. It needs to include your insurance, your gas, your maintenance, and your car payments. Let's say that you make $60,000 a year. That's $5,000 a month. That means you can have $500 of transportation cost. The average car payment in America last year in 2025 was $750. So let's assume that you did have the average car payment of $750 and your insurance was dirt cheap at $100. Let's say you spent $150 on gas and your maintenance was $100 a month. That would be $1,100 a month, which means you need $11,000 a month coming in, which is a total of $132,000 a year of income to afford the average payment. You see why we're so out of whack inside of America on this one?
Now, for most of us, especially those close to median or average salary, this will still allow you to comfortably buy like 25 grand vehicle using that rule. And if you've obviously saved up money, you can put a higher down payment to offset the payment, which means that even if you make like a normal salary, if you just save for a few years, you can still buy even a 50 grand vehicle. Like, but you want to know what salaries you would have to make if you're using this rule and you are going to buy these 100 grand SUVs or heck, even 180 grand SUVs?
I'll give you 3 quick ways to see if you can afford one. You let me know which one makes the most sense. The first one is 2410. You can't really buy one right now for less than 180K. You'd need about 45,000 of monthly income and annual income of about 540,000 to afford the V.
What? We're flying to Philadelphia! Oh, hell no!
Every financial advisor channel says this, and while I'm not a financial advisor, I'll be brutally honest, and I'm going to repeat it too. If you can't put 20% down on a vehicle, you can't afford it yet. Don't loan it. Wait. Delay your gratification. And the best part is, maybe a month from now, you might not even want it. You'll be like, oh, that kind of was just an impulsive thought. Kind of glad I didn't sign that loan after all. And you move on with life. Delayed gratification and setting rules and then following those rules is a superpower in today's modern digital landscape. But if you can do it, you will be ahead of almost all of your peers. I'm not some buzzkill who doesn't want you to enjoy life, but after having my own Canon event, drowning in medical debt for 5 years straight, not knowing if I'd ever even grow old, I was still regulating my own spending and saving. While I couldn't afford to financially thrive, thank God I still survived by carrying my own weight. Like, I'm not going to be some puertornist who hates past me because I think generally he did the best he could with all the cards he had on the table.
Right.
Like, my goal wasn't ever to be rich, but rather not be a burden financially to anyone around me. And more importantly, someday to just be financially free. I take a lot of pride in that, right? Like, my goal is
Bluetooth disconnect. Waiting connection.
All right. How you doing? I'm gonna jump into the back seat and get a nap. You're welcome to hang out and watch if you want. Ugh. Nap time. Nap time. Oh,